this evening, Sweet Knox and Brian Murphy, the linesmen. And we're underway for period number 1 with the North Stars and the Sabres. As Christian Ruutu, Rob Ray, along with Gord Donnelly work up front. Sabres labeling the checks on first as Modano controls from the corner, intercepted by Ray. Poked back to the Sabre line, that is the North Star line. They're forced back out at center. Randy Moeller is there, dumping it back down into the corner. Dahlquist works it along the boards. Checked by Donnelly. Now it is worked by Gaetan Duchesne in there to rough things up, as well as Rob Ray, and they'll lock it up against the dasher board for a stoppage in play. Opening minute of period number 1, no score.
Let's take a look at tonight's Athletic Air. Scratches for Buffalo: Malarchuk, Ledyard, Corkum, Patterson, and Wood. Will slide over to Minnesota. Basil McRae not playing tonight, a foot injury. Pedersen, veteran defenseman Rob Ramage, Sherla, Smith, and Jansen not in the lineup tonight. Now, it's interesting. He starts off. Head coach John Muckler starts off with Ray on one side. He puts Donnelly on the other side. He wants to put his hockey club into a hitting mode, and that's a great idea. Set the tone early.
Well, when you have players like last week.
When you have players like that on the ice, John, if you're a defenseman, all you want to do is shoot the puck in and let them go. Have them chase the opposing defenseman. Shoot it in and let them romp.
Dave Hannon leads another line out there consisting of Brad May and Wayne Presley. We're in the opening minute as Presley works it to the right side of the North Stars net. Hannon keeps it in by tipping it to the corner to May, who is hit along the boards. Now May centering it out in front for Hannon. That's put back down in the corner. Sutton pitches in to keep the puck right out in front there, but it's picked up and at least attempted to be cleared by Hatcher. He's taken off the puck by May, who is all over the place. The North Stars will work into the other corner. With 18 minutes and 53 seconds gone in period number 1. Presley is popped hard, and the puck finally cleared back out to center by the North Stars. Picked up by Hatcher, worked down the left wing board, stopped immediately by Sutton. Pass it along to Andrechuk, who works. Sabres in the middle of a shift change. Out comes LaFontaine along with Mogilny. Todd Alec will work the puck from behind the net. Intercepted by Keith Carney. Letting a shot go just to the right side of the Minnesota net. Alec lost control of it to Mogilny, who works it from the corner. Now dumps it deeper into Pat LaFontaine to Hendrichuk with a shot. Casey makes the save. Rebound, Carney. Those Stars go down and block that one, and here they come out to center. Crossing the line, but they are caught for offside. Brian Bellows along with Gaetan Duchesne and Stuart Gavin, and now we got a little pushing and shoving. Mike to the left side of the Sabres net.
You look at Todd Alec. Well, there's an awful lot of hitting going on early in this game, mostly by Buffalo. Somewhere along the line, Minnesota has to stand up and take a stand here, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Watch this block shot right here. This is a very important block shot for Minnesota, and you see number 6 and the other defenseman setting up, and 6 just drops at the last moment. The timing was perfect. Jimmy Johnson.
No score here in this first period from the Met Center in Bloomington. 18 minutes and 8 seconds left, and penalties will go each way. So we made 5 aside out there. And Stu Gavin, the North Stars player rep for the National Hockey League Players Association.
That brings up a good point. You look at Keith Carney. Jim Morenz will be talking to him in the second period. Said, gee, you think the players can play tonight with all the strike and all the rest of the talk going on in their mind? I guarantee you, once the puck stops, is dropped, you don't think of anything else. I mean, you're not thinking about negotiations. You're just thinking about playing hockey. Maybe before, but certainly not during.
Might use this just to get their mind off to all of the things going on right now. From behind the net, the Stars get something going. Dolan is there, but it's poked and picked up by Dale Howardchuk, who works up front with Tanny along with Donald Audette. They cross the line. Tanny into the corner as Howardchuk sets up camp in front of the North Stars net. Casey got a piece of that one. Oler putting a good hit on, forcing the puck back behind the North Stars net. Worked up along to Dolan and cleared back down into the Sabres zone. First period action, no score. Moeller tipping it along the way to Ruutu as he works with Ray and Donnelly. North Stars get something going now with a right wing pass up the boards. Up by Mike Modano, going with a shot. Oh, off the skate of Ken Sutton. Left into the corner. Duchesne works it. Tips it behind the net. Sutton now up the right wing boards and out to center to Rob Ray, who stood up by Mark Tenorti.
You know what, John? If Buffalo continue to play and work as hard as they have in the past 3 games, the Toronto fans can feel very comfortable that they'll give Minnesota all they can handle here tonight. I mean, this is a different hockey club in the last 3 games. I am so impressed with the way they have worked.
Minnesota opening this evening's game just a light 2 points ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs. First period action. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29. John Gertler along with Mike Robitaille from the broadcast booth at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Jim Lorenz, your host this evening. And our faceoff will go to the right side of goaltender John Casey. Dave Hannon, Brad May, along with Wayne Presley out there. Doug Bodger and Randy Moeller on defense. He lays a pretty good hip check on. Presley from the corner. Lead pass intended for Hannon. Couldn't get it, and it goes back down to the doorstep of Casey. Moeller returning things back down into the North Stars zone. It's cleared out by Hatcher. Bodger will set things up from behind his net. On to the corner to Moeller. Nice pass to May. Up the left wing boards to Dave Hannon, who scored 2 shorthanded goals over the weekend. 2 very important shorthanded goals, mind you. And from behind the net is Presley. Tries a wraparound. Now rebound May. He takes a shot. Casey makes the save. Pokes it back behind the North Stars net. Comes back to the left point where Bodger dumps it back down to the corner. May tips it around. Casey from his net along the boards. He's striving to keep it in at Bodger. They can't do it, and it'll go back down into the Sabres zone. Both teams will change them up on the fly here, but an icing call will be assessed against the North Stars. No score, first period action.
You know, John, it was enjoyable walking around the concourse today in this building. They have some of the old stories out of the paper depicting the early years of the Minnesota North Stars, and just to draw a comparison of the negotiations that are going on. Well, we'll take a look at this replay right here of this double save by Casey. Here it is deep in the Minnesota zone. A wraparound. He'll catch it right on the side, and he was there with awful good timing. And May will take his turn. Another wraparound. So a wraparound to the right and a wraparound to the left. And Casey played exceptionally well against this Buffalo Hockey Club the last time they're in here. And they beat Buffalo that night 3-1 a couple weeks ago, and they haven't won a game since.
Problem is, what are they, sleeping or what?
I'll get back to that story in a minute.
Because I want to hear about that. Cleared back out at center and down into the North Stars zone. Jim Johnson will work it. Along the way to center, Pat LaFontaine. Looking it intended for Alexander Mogilny. Poked back and cleared into the North Stars corner. Rick Ludwig there. Pass out to center, picked up by Mike Ramsey, who is back in the lineup. Given the night off on Sunday evening, and the Sabres 2-2 overtime tie to the Hartford Whalers. Todd Ellick using the boards and tipping it across the line is Ludwig. Ramsey is there, gets a pretty good pop along the end boards. LaFontaine tries to get it out. Gavin is there to pop Ramsey again. Sutton uses the boards to get it up. The Mogilny tips it to LaFontaine. He's got Andrechuk with him at left as they cross the North Stars line. They are caught for offsides. 14 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. First period, no score. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Dodge Spirit preferred overall to the Honda Accord in a recent survey comparing things like comfort, convenience, and performance. And now $1,500 cash back or 0% APR makes Spirit an even more obvious choice during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge. See your Dodge dealer today and compare.
John, about 3 or 4 years ago, all those seats you're looking at right there were empty. Norman Green, the owner of this hockey club, has done a tremendous job of turning this franchise around. And the most important thing, of course, was just to win some hockey games, and that seemed to straighten everything out. At one point, he was handing out $100 bills to fans. That's right. A lucky fan that was sitting in certain seats just to get him in here.
Kept them colored. What they were, gold, green, and white.
Yeah.
And they mixed them up.
Used to walk around during the game.
Illusion.
Yeah, and shaking hands with all the fans, wanting to know what they liked and what they didn't like. And he's quite a guy. He's a real character.
Well, from a $3 million loss last year to a $3 million surplus this past summer, and he spent all of that money to improve the player's salary. Need we say more about the current situation at stake right now? Watch a little hockey game going on. Down in the corner is Dahlin. He works it to the other side. Gagne is there. Tips it across the line and squeezes it out to center. Broughton lets a shot go. Pupa comes up with a save, and I look for the shot clock, Mike, and that's the first shot of the evening by the North Stars. Gagne worked along the boards. Picked up by Johnson, who is heavily covered by Tanny. Audette's got some time to skate. Tipping it up to Svoboda. Working along the right wing side to Howard. Chuck goes with a shot. Casey makes the save. Duchesne is there. Johnson clears it along. Kept in by Kearney. Now it's tipped to the left side of the North Stars net. Ludwig works it along. Again, close checking by the Sabres, holding the North Stars at bay. Bodger works it across the line. Sabres are forced to get back on sides. And they'll look to get a change here as well. Out steps Gord Donnelly and Rob Ray. Mike, they're being double shifted tonight. Out at center is Ray. Pass intended for Ruutu. We're going to have a penalty here. And a few little things erupt right outside the North Stars blue line. Shaw is involved in it as well. Rob Ray getting a good piece and a hold along the glass.
Minnesota, they have to do something here. They're getting pushed around in their own building. Buffalo come out and just set the tone of this hockey game. And they continue to do it. Donnelly and Ray. Then they come back with Presley on one side and May on the other, and away they go.
As we settle down here, let's take a timeout. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
McDonald's introduces the return of the Wild West.
May I take your order?
Yes, ma'am. I reckon you can.
For a limited time, rustle up a saucy, sassy McRib. Or a Western omelet McMuffin for breakfast with peppers, onions, and ham. Or try a satisfying 99-cent chicken fajitas or 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Howdy, boys.
What you want is what you get.
Mind if I join you?
At McDonald's today.
Here's one of the many infractions here early in this game, and then Big Hatcher. He just gets tied up with the one man, pulls away from him at the last moment, fires that elbow out. He's gone, and there's Donnelly. He'll step into him, and they'll attempt to throw a couple punches, but a little difficult to do it sitting in the penalty box.
Well, what was originally scheduled to be a Sabres power play now nullified as Hatcher sits in with Donnelly. Little incident took place with Mark Tenorti and LaFontaine, forcing them off the ice surface and resting for two. A little bit before the incident that took place with Hatcher and Donnelly.
You know, the last game in Buffalo, that was Hartford when they were at the auditorium. Very, very chippy game. The same thing is happening right here.
Well, Andy Van Helleman's going to load up the penalty box, and again offsetting marks here. And Mike, the two top scorers of the respective club, goal-wise, Mike Modano and Pat LaFontaine, are sitting in the penalty box.
I'll tell you, Mike Modano pretty well has everything covered. This guy is just a tremendous asset to this Minnesota Hockey Club. What an exciting player to watch. He can really motor. He can do it all. Good goal scorer. He certainly can fine passing centerman. There's a future centerman right there.
That's right. Kind of tells you that the weather took a turn from the cool side here in Minneapolis. This morning it was quite nice, and then it got real cold. A little bit of snow.
That's when you have
heavy coats are back on.
That's when you have some nice hot butter popcorn.
All the kids are grabbing for one box. Where's Mom and Dad? They've got their own, I bet.
No score in this hockey game. 12:45 remaining in the first period of play. Buffalo rather dominating the early portion of this first period. A very physical game to this point.
You're watching Rob Ray now. Get things warmed up. He'll work on a line with Dave Hannon along with Wayne Presley. Centering pass by Keith Kearney. Intercepted by the North Stars, and it's Ludwig who works it down to the right side of the Sabres net. Well, we'll have a stoppage in play here, and Andy Van Helleman back over to the off-ice officials yet to issue some more penalties. Mark Bureau will go to the box, and I think right here, Mike, the Sabres might be on a power play.
All right, but, you know, Van Helleman, he's doing the right thing. I'll tell you why. If he doesn't make the calls, you're going to say, well, he lost control of the game. So now he's making the calls, trying to get some control in the game, and now they're booing him. This Van Helleman, I think, is one of the best referees in the National Hockey League. I can't remember him having too many bad games one of the senior referees, and he's been around for years, and he certainly has a feel for all the players in the National Hockey League. Here's Van Hellemond right there.
He'll listen to your story, but he's not going to change it.
And my dad, one of the great horsemen in the National Hockey League. One of the all-time great handicappers.
Right.
They're waiting for him at Woodbine.
4 players.
They'll be right behind him.
For the Minnesota North Stars in the penalty box, 3 for the Sabres. Now the Sabres on the power play for the first time in the game, and they'll work.
Well, their power play is not ranked first overall. It's now moved down to second.
Kind of sputtered a little bit last week against Toronto and Boston. They got it back on track a little bit on Sunday night against Hartford.
Well, there's a guy right there that really helps make this power play go. He's the leading power play goal scorer on this team with a total of 26. He has the second most shots of anyone in the National Hockey League. Brett Hull is ahead of him. But anyways, what I was telling you about walking around the concourse, some of these old timers, and comparing it to negotiations now, there was one story there. Dave Ballone, an old teammate of mine, negotiating with a great character here for years, Ren Blair, who was the general manager of this hockey club years ago, saying, big contract squabble, Ballone and Blair almost at blows with each other, and they're $500 apart.
Oh, dear.
500. And then Dave said, well, I'm not worried. We have a shot to win the Stanley Cup, and that's another $6,800 there, so I've got it made.
So they're going to work it out. LaFontaine rink wide. McGillney off his skates, picked up by the North Stars, intercepted by Howardchuk from the slot. Howardchuk takes his shot. Casey with a save. Rebound. It's poked by Neil Broughton. Intercepted by McGillney. Nice pass over to Howardchuk. Set up for Pat LaFontaine and let a shot fly. Casey got a piece of that one on his shoulder. And the puck is cleared back out at center. LaFontaine again across the line, but they're caught for offsides. 11 minutes and 30 seconds left to play into this first period. No score. 58 seconds left in the penalty to Mark Bureau.
It really helps Buffalo's cause an awful lot when they can work Anderchuk to the front of the net instead of McGillney. Makes all the difference in the world. Let's have a look at this opportunity here. You'll see in Minnesota, they just try to drive it out, and it's picked up at the blue line. The shot is taken after he steps right in, and that's Howardchuk. And many times you'll see him just pull off a little stutter step. He'll come down with the shot and hold it at the last moment, drop everyone, then follow through. John, I almost fell over with a $430,000 pension at age 62.
Yep.
Is that as much as the $5,800 I make a year? Pension after 10 years in the NHL.
This question mark why. Alexander McGillney with a shot to go right out in front, and the patented backhand works this time. Mike Robitaille in front of John Casey.
That's a good way of saying it. That's something that hasn't worked many times for Alexander McGillney, and he's almost bullheaded to the point that I'm going to get one through one way or another, and he finally did. Let's have a look at it right here. The puck is fed into him, and he'll just dance to the front of the net, go to the backhand, and once the legs open up, he just slides it right in between the legs. There's a better look at it. Watch the stick of the goaltender. Why didn't he possibly come out a little bit, or certainly keep it between the legs when the legs opened up? It didn't. The stick came up off the ice, and the puck went in immediately.
Nobody does it better. His 36th goal of the season. That's Alexander McGillney, and the Sabres have taken a 1-0 lead. That on the power play. Dahlin prepares to work it across the line. The left side of the Sabres net stops. Stars looking to get something going. Now we'll have a penalty up here. Randy Moeller getting involved right now with Mark Tenorti. Let us take this time out, approaching the halfway mark of period number 1, and 1-0 the Sabres leading it. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
You know, there's real magic in Diet Pepsi. It's got that special aha ingredient.
You got the right one, baby. Diet Pepsi,
You got the right one, baby. Hey. Okay, girls. Now, what's that magic ingredient?
With 100%
So look at Andy Van Hellemond. We'll have a look at this penalty at 10:56 remaining in the first period of play, and you see the players tied up right to the front of the net, and Moeller takes them right into the left post, and the pushing and the shoving starts, and the puck comes back and almost clips him in the side of the head.
Yeah.
You look at the penalty box, which has been pretty well filled up ever since that first puck has been dropped. It's Alexander McGillney's 36th goal of the year from defenseman Doug Bodger. Power play goal. Sabres in the lead 1-0.
So the North Stars get an opportunity to work on their power play, the 19th power play in the league. They're working with Gagne now controlling it, faking the shot. Got Shaw back there on the point. Dahlin setting it up for Bellows. That's forced back along the boards and picked up by Peter Sabota, who'll work it out with Dave Hannon. 1:37 left in the penalty for Randy Moeller. 1-0. Buffalo leading it.
Hannon's like a craftsman out there. He's like a surgeon when he's killing penalties. Everything is so precise. He has it down pat.
Shaw rink wide to Dahlin, who is forced back into his own zone. Poked by Ruutu. He'll work it to the top of the slot and then back out to his own line to Sabota. And you get a lead pass to Tony Tanny. Intercepted by Gagne. Drop pass over to Dahlin. Setting it up for Bellows, but he overskates the puck. Hit by Tanny. That's worked along the boards by Sabota. Now poked by Bellows. Left behind for Gagne. And controlling it from behind is Dahlin. A loose puck picked up by Christian Ruutu, but Casey comes way out of his net to clear it back out of center.
Casey had to make a decision, and he made the right decision. He stutter stepped for a moment, and it almost cost him, but he decided to go at the last moment, and he just got control of the puck. You'll have a look at it right here. There you look at John Casey, and there's the free puck. Who's going to grab it? Well, that's the goaltender. He'll step right up, grab it, and whip it outside the blue line into safety.
We'll regroup back down in the North Stars zone with 9 minutes and 44 seconds left to play here in period number 1. Alexander McGillney scores for the Sabres, his 36th of the season.
If you're into stats, John, how about this one? Minnesota, if they're down after 2 periods of play, they've only won 1 game this season, lost 32 and tied 1, so it's a very important stat.
Broughton rink wide, puck dropped to Craig, who works it from the corner. Bernardi sets up in front of the Sabres net. Madonna works the right point. Lays back down into the corner. Comes to the left point. Broughton can't keep it in. It's forced back at center. Good play by Hannon. Donato setting it up now for Tenorti. So Broughton leads up the way to Craig. Drop pass to Madonna, intercepted by a sprawling Mike Ramsey and cleared back down. 8 seconds left in the penalty to Randy Moeller. John Casey doing his own stick handling and from the corner. Sabres are back to full strength as Moeller makes his stride from the penalty box to the Sabres bench. Out steps McGillney, working with Andrechuk and LaFontaine. At the line, the North Stars are cut for offsides.
The North Stars are not moving very well right in the center ice zone. And there's one guy that's capable of really moving well, and he really hasn't hit his stride here this evening. They need him playing at his very best. He gives his team an awful lot of speed, and he really presses the defenseman he's facing to make mistakes because of his speed. Let's have a look at John Casey right here. You can see him stick handling, controlling the puck, and he just kind of peels away from that man and brings it into safety into the corner. But you see the pressing, the constant pressing by the Buffalo forecheckers when they're killing penalties. When they're killing penalties, Buffalo, they don't lay back. They like to press and force you into mistakes. As a matter of fact, Muckler likes his team to play that way, whether they're even up, down 10 men. Just play aggressively.
That they are this evening. Speaking for the Sabres, as the puck goes to the right side of the North Stars net. Andrechuk lets it go from the slot. Purdy takes a shot. Casey with the save. He is hit hard by Mogilny. Comes out to challenge the puck. Sabres are right there at the doorstep, but it's cleared out at center. Picked up by Broughton and skating it in well with Gagne. Broughton with a shutter goal. Neil Broughton scores for the Minnesota North Stars, and the game is tied at 1.
This is a very interesting goal. You're going to see a crafty veteran, Neil Broughton, score this goal. He doesn't score very often. This is a beautiful goal right here. This is a 2-on-1. You see he goes to the backhand, fakes the goaltender a little bit, sets the goaltender and just blows it right by him with a quick little snapshot. Now watch Pupa. He'll get set before he can even move. He just drills it up into the far corner. But Broughton very smart, John, because he used his man to the far side, and he made Pupa feel a little uncomfortable because of it. He didn't waste any time with the snap wrist shot right into the upper corner.
Rod with his 8th goal of the season. I think the last time he scored a goal was on March 17th, that against the Sabres when they defeated the 3-1.
Paid him to score goals, he'd go broke.
Crossing the line, Skip Miller. Now right out in front is Modano. Works it from the corner. Leaves it from the slot. Skate play tipped by Tanny right to the line. Shaw is there to return it back in. Now the second half of the first period, the North Stars are taking the reins from the heavy-hitting Sabres as Ramsey skates it from the left point. That's intended for Donald Audette. He's taken off his skates, and the puck again cleared back down in the Sabres zone. We're tied at 1 with 7 minutes and 18 seconds left to play here in period 1 from the Met Center in Bloomington. And we have a stoppage of play as the puck goes into the Sabres bench. We'll be back tied at 1. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Why does Marine Midland work so well for so many? You can talk to us. You can talk a car loan with Lee Doyle. From behind his desk, he's put hundreds behind the wheel. Family growing, meet Alan Clark. Last year, he helped 30 people build home additions for their new additions. It's not just billions in assets or hundreds of branches that make us what we are. Marine people do it so well because they do it so much. So let's work it out together. Ask Don Flynn. He's talking from experience.
There you look at Coach John Muckler, and as long as I've been around, I don't think there's been any coach in this organization that has received as much respect from the players as John Muckler, and he kind of has the stats to go with it, John, to back it up.
He always has his favorite saying when you talk to him. How are things going, John? Best day of my life. But unfortunately today, he said it's the worst day of my life. Said these players just don't know how good they got it. Believe you me, if it's one guy that knows how to talk about it, 30 years of riding the buses and bucking Broncos, and
I mentioned that before. I mean, I was driving, riding the same buses when he was, and he was out in Iowa, of all places, coaching Minnesota North Stars farm team. And I was with Omaha, and was behind the bench and running that team, and he's paid his dues. He's been around and around many, many times, and has a wonderful feel for the game, and he's a winner. You just feel it. He knows how to win. You know something else? I think he made it very clear to the players. He's going to be around for a while, and the coach isn't moving this time. You're not getting rid of another coach. I'm going to be here this time. If anyone's moving, it's going to be you. You guys are through going through coaches.
He's laid that law down. Sutton works it from the corner. Pushing and shoving going on with Rob Ray and Johnson. Rutu carries it across the line, taking a shot. Rebound is out in front. Donnelly is taken down. There is no call. And here come the North Stars, led by Broughton, who scored the goal. Gagne controlling it across the line. Shot right on by Johnson. And Pupa will smother that one up. Third shot on goal by the Minnesota North Stars in this hockey game. And the score is tied at 1.
You know, I gave you that stat earlier about Minnesota when they're trailing after 2. They've only won 1 game, lost 32, and tied 1. Well, here's another stat that's rather devastating also. Minnesota, when they allow 4 or more goals, they've only won 1 game and lost 30 and tied 2. So, the moral of the story, John?
Yeah.
Darren Pupa, I'd have to say, certainly playing the best he's played in a couple of years in the last 3 or 4 games. He has really had his moments where he stood right out and started to come back to the way he's capable of playing. And what an awful big difference it makes in this hockey club when you have him playing at the top of his game. And Tom Draper has had his moments also. It'll be interesting. And to see Clint Malarchuk on the road trip with the guys and see that smiling face around, and what a tremendous guy. It's good to see him moving around and back with the team again.
Duchesne keeping it in right at the line. Bellows. Top of the slot. Shot is blocked, and Dave Hannon controls. Onto the right wing boards to Presley, who's taken off the puck, and it picked up by Hatcher out at center. First period action. We're tied at 1. Chip shot by Hatcher forces the Sabres behind the net. Brad May mishandles it. Kearney comes up with it. Lead pass out for Dave Hannon. He couldn't hang on to it, so Casey stick handles it right in front of his net, picked up by Brad May. Leaves it in front. Bellows controls, and the North Stars break out. Todd Ellick is with them at right as they cross the Sabre blue line. Bellows trying to get it over to Ellick, who tips it into the corner. Peter Svoboda is there from the left side and works it out. Right wing pass to Dave Hannon. Tipping it across, and the Sabres attempting to change up on the fly. They don't have to, as Hannon tipped it over the glass and into the crowd. 5:17 remaining, first period tied at 1. We'll be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Dodge Dakota 4x4 Club Cab with an available new Magnum V8. Out hauls, out tows, just plain out works any comparable Ford, Chevy, or import compact. Now, Dakota, just voted Four-Wheeler Magazine's Pickup of the Year, has $750 cash back. So make it your choice during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge. See your Dodge dealer today and compare.
You know, John, I would have to think General Manager Jerry Meehan made a very, very nice move and a very important move when he picked up. He had a look at defenseman Randy Moeller. The type of player you can set your defense around because of the consistency. He'll show up night after night. He'll just play a good, solid type of game and knows how to play the game besides. And there is a way to play this game, by the way.
Absolutely. Doing a little poking, and he got involved in a little extracurricular activity with Kip Miller. So Moeller will take his second trip to the penalty box in this period.
Needs another point for 200 in his National Hockey League career. And that's another thing he adds, he brings to this team, is a toughness. That's something they didn't have behind the blue line for an awful long time. It was always left up to one guy or maybe two guys. Now they have four guys that will really play a physical game. You won't take liberties with them. They'll stand up and they'll face you nose to nose. If you want to dance, let's dance. You want to play the game right, let's play it right. But I'm here and I'm not leaving, folks.
Good mobility. Good sense of the game. And what I understand, not a bad sense of humor.
Well, our Toronto fans watching this game, John, are not breathing any easier. This is a 1-1 tie so far, so no break.
Carney with it, top of the slot, lets it fly, goes way high over the glass and into the crowd here at the Met Center. And like in Boston, a couple of fans, one displaying the proud colors of the Buffalo Sabres, the other the St. Louis Blues. Back on Saturday, we had two great fans. If you were with us, you remember this one. We had two great fans with one guy wearing a Boston uniform and the other guy wearing a Sabre uniform. I'm saying this right.
You know, some people, John, they'll do handstands to pick up a puck. Keep an eye on this guy. Watch what he does to get it. Reach, reach. You have to be almost an anteater to pick it up. He's got his nose right down to the cement. Gum on his nose. There, he's got it. He's happy. It doesn't matter.
Carney from the point skating in, trying to set it up for LaFontaine. Intercepted by the North Stars. Broughton works it across the line to Dolan, skating in, taking a shot. He scores! Dolan scores the goal, and the North Stars take a 2-1 lead.
Somewhat like the goal Broughton scored. It was a 2-on-1. McGillney just got back at the last moment, but Dolan was into a position where he could snap it. And this Cowboy can really snap it. Want some proof? Keep an eye on this right here. You can see the man cutting right in front of Darren Poop at the last moment. McGillney had him at one point. Why he wouldn't stay with him, I have no idea, but he just broke free. Why he wanted to break free was to cause the interference in front of the goaltender. You're coming back and you're back checking. Stay with the guy all the way.
Here's Howard Tuck skating in with Audette. Howard Tuck controlling the puck as Casey comes out to challenge him. Shot unable to go in front of the North Stars net. Now picked up by Craig Ludwig, and he'll flick it back out to center. Collins scoring his 33rd goal of the season as Audette tips it over to Tony Tanney, skating right in. Tanney played poked by Modano. Tipped it behind the net to Howard Chuck.
We got a debt down in the ice, and he's holding his knee again.
Oh, dear. Now we got a little scrap going to the other corner as Audette remains in pain and holding on to his right leg. And Ken Sutton right now wrapped up with Johnson. Trainer Jim Pizzatelli attends to Donald Audette. We'll take this 30-second timeout. 2-1 our score. North Stars first period action. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
The wrong muffler can really hurt your engine performance and fuel economy. At Midas, you get the right muffler that's guaranteed. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Inside the talking phone book are pages and pages of money-saving coupons where you can save on everything from head to toe. The talking phone book. There's more in it for you.
Travel arranged through Continental Airlines. One airline can make a difference. What's the difference? For the price of unrestricted coach, a first-class seat. That's the difference on Continental.
All right, let's keep an eye on Donald Audette. You can see him with control of the puck. He'll try to go wide around this defenseman. Johnson takes him out. But watch the right leg. You see it trail in behind like it's a hyperextension, and he knows it right away. And the last time I noticed him down in that position, John, was out in Edmonton. It was a couple of years ago, and it cost him almost a year of his career after some very serious surgery.
Well, Donald Audette has not moved from the position of where Jim Pizzatelli, the Sabres trainer, met him. And a rookie who has scored 31 goals, and the last 2 goals that he scored were beauties, and that was on Wednesday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, he's second in rookie scoring. Of course, with the 31 goals, Tony Amonte of the New York Rangers with a total of 35. I'll tell you, the guy that'd be leading, who would have played all season long, was Dion from Montreal. He has 21 in 37 games. They'll bring a stretcher out for.
It does not look good for Donald Audette.
Not only is he very careful with his knee, but he's holding his elbow.
One of those off-balance shots. Whether it's a shoulder or an arm, or just a complete side there, we had initially reported it was his right leg. And remembering of the injury of last year that Mike Robitaille talked about, now he is holding on as well to his right shoulder. There's Jim Johnson, who sits in the box and assessed the penalty.
It seemed like a decent check. I mean, you know, he seemed to take him wide and just throw him into the boards, and after that he just went down wrong.
He got a penalty.
Whether it was his
for,
leg or his elbow, I have no idea at this point, and maybe both.
The roughing penalty with Ken Sutton. Sutton went after him for that little ado in the corner after the hit with Donald Audette. Mike, let's go back and take a look at it again.
And this time we'll keep an eye on the arm. Watch the right arm also, and the right leg. They'll go up on the check from Johnson. There's the right arm. The right leg is bent. Boy, I'll tell you, in the arm, unless he just pulled his shoulder out of joint, it's a hard call from here, John. Really difficult for me to get a feel for it, although I've had that injury many times, and it's not a very pleasant one if his shoulder popped out of its socket.
3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining here in period number 1. The score is 2-1 in favor of the North Stars. McGillney opens things up at 8:40, followed by Broughton at 11:46, Dotton at 15:29, and again the countdown officially as handed by the NHLPA. 3 o'clock tomorrow, the strike deadline date. The players, speaking for the Sabres and the North Stars, have yet to vote. What they are going to do after the game this evening, they will watch a videotape supplied by Bob Goodnow, as well as material and information to explain to each and every one of the players the current issues at stake and what is at stake and the repercussions that they will suffer if they decide to strike. And Mike, if they go on strike, not only is the season lost, the Stanley Cup playoffs, but they probably won't get the National Hockey League underway until mid-December next year, until they just start all over again. John Ziegler said this afternoon they are so close. There are so many margins that are so close to being closed that if they decide to go on strike tomorrow, all those margins just come wide open again, and everybody starts from ground zero again.
You know, and just getting back to Donald Audette for a minute, it really looks like it's very possibly his right shoulder. Now, we pretty well covered it all, right?
Well, we got the whole right side. We got the whole right side.
We'll get a report and we'll give it to you as the game goes on. John, I'm looking down here. I'm watching some guy selling peanuts. What does it mean to him to strike? Is he here because he's got a couple kids to feed? Maybe. Absolutely. More than likely.
What about the folks down here? I mean, the biggest problem, and what was issued this afternoon by the league president John Ziegler, the effect of the fans. It is the fans who are paying. For example, the $9 out of the $10 going to the National Hockey League players, those are coming from the turnstiles. It's the fans that have the problems. And the fact that they'll be losing the quality of this wonderful game and the development of the game.
Maybe these are the replacement players they've been talking about.
Let us hope not.
You know, I'll tell you what, it hasn't bothered me all that much, but now it's getting really serious here. I mean, we are dead serious. It could actually happen tomorrow. I can't believe it. This is my game. How can he take it away from me? You know, I really feel like I'm just losing my best friend. And a job besides.
In the slick press conference that was put on this afternoon by the league president, John Ziegler, and he said, why scar the season? Why scar it now? And incidentally, the players have an obligation. Court ruling have an obligation, and it's in their players' contract that they must perform in the postseason. There are so many variables and integral things to talk about regarding these current issues at hand right now, and it's just something that they have to take a cold, hard look at. And everybody's forgetting about the players, forgetting about the fans. Shot right on by Broughton. As the Stars, Tim Johnson assessed that penalty. Sabres a little slow in getting this power play going here. LaFontaine, McGillney, and Andrechuk working it from behind the net. Somebody's got to get in front. It'll be McGillney. Shot on by Howard-Chuck. Stick saved by Casey. Bodger keeps it in from the left point. LaFontaine works it along the boards. Tipping it to Bodger, but it's stolen and cleared by Chris Dahlquist with 2 minutes and 59 seconds left to play here in period number 1. 2-1, North Stars leading it. Howard-Chuck, left wing pass to Sabota, who works it around. Picked up by Darren Hatcher and cleared all the way to the doorstep of Darren Pupa.
So now that Buffalo has Sabota, that gives Bodger a little break back in defense and gives him an extra breather, so he's stronger for his regular shifts besides.
Ludwig popped along the boards by May, forcing the puck into the corner. Hannon keeps it there. Set up to the right point to Peter Sabota. Sabres on the power play, down by 1 goal. Howard-Chuck, top of the slot to Sabota. Back to Howard-Chuck, standing in front of the net. Here's Brad May as Sabota fakes the shot, leaves it to Howard-Chuck. Tried to get it rinked wide over to Dave Hannon, but it was intercepted and cleared by the North Stars.
They had 2 men standing right in front. The shot wasn't taken. It was intercepted. You have 2 men standing in front of the net. It's not going to get any sweeter than that. You might as well lay it on there. A rebound, a possibility to score. Confusion.
Broughton clears. Carney carries. The North Stars back to full strength. Carney tipping it back over to Presley. They'll combine together to keep it to the right side of the Minnesota net. Carney with an opportunity, tipping it back over to Presley with a shot. Oh, hit the side of the Minnesota net. Hannon controls. He's got some time to skate from the slot. Taking a shot well wide. Rebound, Rob Ray down on his knees, and Andy Van Hellemond will whistle things with 1:26 remaining here in period 1. And the North Stars leading it by a score of 2-1. And we're going to have another penalty here as Van Hellemond skates to the off-ice official to indicate the call to Mark Tenorti.
Penalty on the North Stars number 24, Mark Tenorti, for cross-checking at 18:34.
So the Sabres move back on the power play again, and let us return to Kearney, setting up the chance for Presley, who just tips the left side of the North Stars net. You look at that penalty there by Tenorti right in front of the North Stars net. Pushing it down to the right side there. So the Sabres will close out this first period, but with the man advantage, they're down by 1. Face off to the right side of John Casey. Hatcher tipping it behind the net, pokes from the end boards to the right side, so Casey is quick to smother it up again. Just some of the features that have been offered by the National Hockey League owners to the NHLPA. Get to that in just a couple of moments as Bodger works it to the top of the slot. Howard-Chuck combines. LaFontaine along with McGillney setting it up. Andrechuk skates from the right side of the North Stars net from the corner. LaFontaine works the left point. McGillney's in front. Under a minute to play into the first period. Andrechuk trying to set it up nicely for Dale Hawerchuk, but it's intercepted. And here come the North Stars, led by Broughton, giving it across the line. Duchesne is there. Leaves it into the corner with 43 seconds. LaFontaine skates from behind. Left wing pass to Dave Andrechuk, who drills it back down to the North Stars corner. Casey from his net wheels it along with his stick into the corner. Intercepted by Dale Hawerchuk. Back over to Dave Andrechuk from the left side of the North Stars net. And Casey is quick to freeze it up. Immediately Dave Andrechuk is bear hugged by big defenseman Aaron Hatcher. Very quickly on some of those features by the NHL owners. $430,000 would be the average per year player pension for life at age 62. $420,000 would be the average player salary under the new free agency system. 70% amount of broadcast and gate revenues received by the players. This is a one-year contract term. 56% of the player's salary and benefit increase over the last 2 years. 90% amount of ticket sales received by the players. And a medical plan which is unequaled in North America sports or industry for that matter. And that is currently the offer from the owners out on the table to the players, who will vote on it this evening after tonight's game, after they review a message by their union president, Bob Goodenough.
Dave Andrechuk elbowing at 1931. Andrechuk an elbow at 1931.
So the two teams will play 4-a-side for the remainder of this period and into the second period. And let's see the elbow by Dave Andrechuk. Hello. Aaron Hatcher hearing a few things from that shot. We'll pick it up to the left side of the North Stars net. 4-a-side, 28 seconds left in period one. As Ludwig works it from the right out to center, gloved by Carney. Tipped along the boards by Dahlquist, picked up by Presley. Also skating in is Bodger as Presley controls in front. A shot on by Dave Hannon. Forced back into the corner. North Stars break out with 2 seconds left. A long shot by Dolan, and that'll do it for period number one here at the Met Center, as the North Stars hold a 2-1 lead over the Sabres. Period number two. Both teams will play 4-a-side, and the Stars will do that for the next 27 seconds. And the Buffalo Sabres next minute and 22 is an opportunity set up right in front of John Casey. Cleared by Dolan along the boards. Hatcher hit by Ruutu. Loose puck picked up and cleared. A nice right wing pass as Dolan skates across the Sabre line, trying to come into the left side of Darren Pupa. Heavily covered by Doug Bodger. 2-1 our score. The North Stars leading it as Hatcher comes into the left point. Now the North Stars are on a power play as Tenardi skates from the penalty box, and out steps Bellows, taking Ruutu off the puck. Hatcher then controlling it down deep into the Sabres corner, hit by Bodger. Carney is there, overplays the puck, left into the corner. Bellows goes after it. Ruutu is there, and his backhand clears it. 34 seconds left in the penalty. That issued to Dave Andrechuk at the 1931 mark. A shot labeled on. Rebound. Backhand by Gagne. Couldn't get the full throttle on that one. Elbowing was the call against Andrechuk. Bellows now into the right side of the Sabres net. Tipping into the corner. Back to the top of the slot to Shaw with a shot that goes high into the corner. Tip back to the right point as Shaw works it. Now Tenardi into the corner. Top of the slot in the area for Gagne. Bellows. In and out of the crease it goes. Sabres are back to full strength as Andrechuk steps from the penalty box and skates into the play. Bodger from the corner. Whips it along the glass and clears it all the way back down. And we're going to have a icing call assessed against the Sabres. Second period action. The North Stars lead it 2-1.
There's Mark Tenardi, now the captain of this Minnesota Hockey Club. And you talk about a player's career that just exploded. It's Mark Tenardi. Like, this kid came out of nowhere and all of a sudden became one of the better defensemen in the National Hockey League. As he mentioned in the interview, he has an opportunity now to put a little offense into his game, playing the defense and the power play, and he's very, very capable. He's a great worker and a great team leader. They're very fortunate to have this kid in their organization.
Sabres led in shots after the first period, 12-6, but down 2-1 in the scoring bracket. Face-off left side of the Sabres net. LaFontaine, Andrechuk, and McGillney out there. North Stars keeping it in. The captain, Tenorti, tipping it behind the net. Scooting after it is LaFontaine, tipping it up the boards and back down into the North Stars corner. And again, an icing call coming up here against the Sabres.
It's funny how hockey players are at certain teams. You look at Pat LaFontaine, certain teams, they lose their concentration. They play a certain way. They have a game plan, and all of a sudden they'll lose it. Everything falls apart, disintegrates. Then it comes back 10 minutes later. They put it all together for a short while, then they lose it again. It's just a lack of concentration. Such an important part of this game is between shifts when you're sitting on the bench. It doesn't look like anything, but it's so important that you prepare yourself for the next shift. You have your line mate sitting beside you. You know who you have to play against the next shift. You think about how that player plays, what you have to do to take care of them, how to play against them defensively, the weaknesses. You just don't fall asleep in between shifts.
Faceoff will go to the right side of the Sabres net. Christian Ruutu battles for the draw, loses it, set up by Ludwig, blocked. Now picked up by Ludwig again. He takes his shot, gloved by Pupa. Left for Ray, who goes rink wide over for Donnelly, who lets it go for Ruutu, bringing it across, taking a shot, blocked in front by Ludwig. Rebound, Donnelly takes his shot. Casey with the save. Immediately there is Ray, tipped up along the boards, held in by the right point by Ruutu. In the checking line out for the Sabres now, Donnelly and Ray along with Ruutu.
Well, Donnelly wants to go with Johnson.
Ruutu now hit one of the players, and we're going to have a little bout now with Gord Donnelly and Jim Johnson.
I'm going to tell you right now, Johnson, once Donnelly dropped his gloves and started going at him, he ran like a cheap pair of nylons. And then finally he stopped when the referees got in between him and the linesman. Donnelly chased him around the net about 6 different times. Now, I don't blame him. I'd do the same thing.
We have another one of the star players down along the boards. Away from our camera angle. Let us take this time out. 2-1 our score. Minnesota leading at second period action. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Your good neighbors Chevrolet Geo dealers, proud sponsors of Sabres hockey, bring you the Chevy Truck Hat Trick.
Chevy scores!
92 Chevy S10s, full-size pickups, S-Blazers, Astro vans.
Chevy scores!
Trust you can depend on, the trucks that last.
Chevy scores!
All with dealer discounts to make Chevy trucks the official vehicle of your home team.
Chevy wins!
Drive home a winner from your good neighbors Chevrolet Geo dealers. 1992 Chevy trucks, tougher than a slap shot.
Now watch right here. Ruutu will come in and he looks like an octopus trying to unfold a beach chair. Arms, legs, knees, elbows, gloves, sticks, throws everything at Bureau. Bureau goes down and there was no penalty. You look at Gord Donnelly and
still having a chat with Jim Johnson adjacent in the area. Now we've got a little conversation erupting. And immediately the linesman in there.
Well, that's Mike Craig, and just went over to the Buffalo bench and just said a few words to them. And now they're both eyeing each other up, both teams. And, yeah, I'm going to get you, and a couple oh yeahs here and there. And there goes Rob Ray. I think he might have picked up an unsportsmanlike penalty. He'll go for 2. That's an addition.
Mark Bureau, who was involved in that collision with Christian Ruutu, also being escorted by linesman Brian Murphy over to the North Stars penalty box.
Bureau just got raked along the boards. He just about got everything Ruutu could throw at him.
You know, I'm not an octopus, and I still have problems trying to open a beach chair myself.
Towels are easy. Beach chairs are.
Here's Bureau having a few words, and now Rob Ray has opened the penalty box door. Possibly have a rematch later on. This is second period action. If you just joined us, 17 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. The North Stars leading it by a score of 2-1. McGillney opens the scoring for the Sabres, his 36th of the season. Broughton and Dahlin follow for the North Stars.
2:28 on the Sabres. Number 34, Gord Donnelly. Double minor penalties for roughing. On the North Stars, number 6, Jim Johnson, a minor for roughing.
So the North Stars go back on the power play.
From what we understand, John, both these hockey clubs will end up with their vote tonight concerning the possibility of a strike, and the players, they'll get together and make their decision, and they have all the right in the world to make that decision.
Apparently there's some conversation now with the linesman.
Well, he's yapping. The guy in the white shirt, and all he's doing is fogging up the glass. He can't hear him anyways.
There's a police officer down there as well, and that is standard practice here at the Met Center. Mogilny will serve the other two. Assessed on the Gord Donnelly. Back to the ice surface. Kip Miller, who was acquired from the Quebec Nordiques back on March 8th and just recalled from Kalamazoo, setting things up, and Modano is caught for an offside call. He snuck in there pretty quickly. One of the goal scorers here this evening, Dahlin with his 33rd goal of the season, and the North Stars with 4 players of 30 or more goals.
You know, John, one of the problems here, I think, with this whole episode with the Players Association and the owners of the NHL, we've heard so little from the Players Association. It's so difficult to give their story in light of what's happening. It's been very, very quiet on their front. And we're getting a ton of information, and as much as us as broadcasters can possibly use. So.
Bob Goodenow had a press conference this afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Well, that doesn't help me any. You know, I'm walking over to the building at 5.
I'm not sure. 17:01 left to play, second period. Donnelly serves an extra 2, and there's 1:29 left into that one. And now Mike Modano having a few words with Dave Hannon. Got to put the fisheye back up here at the broadcast location and take a look at the entire ice surface while this game is going on, because there's a lot of pushing and shoving and clutching and grabbing behind the play, as well as some talking that could erupt into more. What do you say we just show it like this, Mike?
Sounds fair to me.
High angle shot. We'll identify the dots out there. Leading scorer for the Minnesota North Stars. 33 goals on this season, 43 assists. Well, Bob Gainey having a few words with Andy Van Hellemond.
Well, this Modano, a very important stat also. He has 8 game-winning goals. Matter of fact, Donald Dead had 6, and he's not back on the bench. And we were right. I think it was his knee and his shoulder. They took care of his shoulder, and I think the doctor said, well, no, let's take care of the knee.
So we covered all parts. We do know this much, that it is a shoulder injury, and he will not return. Speaking for Donald Audette, who was injured in the first period of play.
Mark Tenorti is the leading scorer on this for defenseman in the Minnesota North Stars with a total of 24 points, and you still want more than 24 points nowadays the way this game is being played from your offensive-minded defenseman. Doug Bodger with a total of 44, so he'll probably hit 50 this year, Bodger, and I think Sabota with a new lease in life possibly in the style of his game. It looks to me like he should be around 50 points also as a defenseman.
One thing Bob Gainey is looking for is more of an offensive-minded defenseman to help these talented offensive players that they have. And they're onto the ice surface right now, but 1:06 left in the Andrechuk's call, and there's a miscue right at the top of the slot by Shaw, forcing a face-off back outside the Sabres line.
Why it's so important to have defensemen that can move the puck up. Let's just use Buffalo as an example. You got Dale Howardchuk, an offensive force in the National Hockey League. You got LaFontaine the same way. Now, that's a sin. If you haven't got a defenseman that can move the puck up to these guys, what are you going to do? That's like saying the Edmonton Oilers not having defensemen that can move it up to Gretzky, Anderson, and players like that. You must have defensemen on this Buffalo team that can headman the puck, hit these guys on the fly, and let them romp. Can't be hitting them in the back through their whole careers with passes.
There's another good one that can hit him on the fly. Peter Savoto, who just did that to Dave Hannon along the boards. The play is nullified as he teamed up with Presley. Casey now works it into the corner. Their miscue of the puck. Casey tries it again. Mark Tenorti works it with 40 seconds left in the penalty to Gord Donnelly. Picked up now by Hannon. Top of the slot. Here comes Savoda. Overskates the puck but manages to get it back. Poked by Modano, and he controls. Up along the way to Bellows. Left wing pass to Dahlin. Skating in, taking a shot. Pupa with a save. Rebound. Coming in on it, controlling it from the top of the slot. That's nullified, and the Sabres break out with Hannon and Presley across the line. Presley makes the shot. Casey comes out to challenge and kick it away. Dahlin works now with Chip Miller from the top of the Sabres slot. Poked back out at center. They're already tried it again, and he's forced back into his own zone by Christian Ruutu. Sabres are back to full strength as Mogilny skates from the penalty box. Getting involved with the play and after the puck along with Tony Tannen. Casey way out of his net again. Tannen kicking with the blade of his skate behind the dashboard. Centering it out in front as Ruutu did. Nobody could get the lumber on it. And here come the North Stars. Skating down is Craig. Setting up in front as Gagne takes a whap at it in midair. Rebound set up. Craig in front. Alec with a shot. Saved by Pupa. Rebound picked up by Ruutu. He drills it along the boards and all the way back down. And that'll stop the North Stars attempt momentarily. Carney works it from his zone. To Bodger. Shaw stops it, getting a hit by May. Howard-Chuck out now, along with Dave Andreychuk. 14:43 left here in period 2. 2-1 our score. North Stars are leading it. Carney and Bodger combine. Andreychuk, right wing, tipping it across the line to Brad May. Going to the net is Dale Howard-Chuck. May with a shot. Casey with the save, and he hangs on to that one. Clippers are starting to run high here in period 2. Let us take this time out. 2-1 our scores. North Star leading it. We'll be back as you're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Interference seems to be a big part of professional hockey nowadays, and here's a classic example of it right here. You can see the goaltender tied up with the Buffalo forward, and actually both of them end up holding each other out of the play. David Shaw in the box. He'll sit back and relax and take your boots off for a couple minutes.
The Sabres power play can't get back into effect here, at least work on it. Savoda back over to Pat LaFontaine. Forced back of the line. And he got caught twice. I think Sweet Knox let him go the first time, and then Andreychuk tipped it back to him, and he was just across by a couple of inches. So we'll try it again just outside the North Stars line.
When it comes to playoff time, Buffalo will be counting heavily on their power play. It's one of the better power plays in the National Hockey League, and that's how you win in the playoffs with your specialty teams. But more importantly than that, goaltending. In penalty killing, power plays, and goaltending, you can kick a couple other goals in, evened up. It's a bonus.
He only popped one in the first period. Sabres went 1 for 3 in the first 20 minutes. Another opportunity here as Mogilny shovels it across the line, returned immediately by Casey. Takes some more time off. Penalty to Dave Shaw with minute 16 remaining. Voda right at the line to Mogilny, stood up and stopped. Todd Ellick works it along the left wing, right across the Sabre line. He lost control of it. Howard-Chuck tipping it over to LaFontaine. Off the blade of his stick. Venorti finds an opening and clears it back down. Bodger is there with 13 minutes and 23 seconds left to play here in period 2. 2-1 our score. North Stars leading it. Andreychuk touching the puck, that is, and another stoppage and an offside call.
You take a look at Pat LaFontaine, and so much attention and pressure rests on his shoulders. And the goodwill of this hockey club, they must have him going at his very best. I must tell you, there haven't been too many nights where he hasn't been at his very best. Now you look at Bob Gainey, and I figure about it'd take Bob Gainey about 10 days of a conditioning program, and he'll be back and be probably one of the top 3 defensive players in the National Hockey League. And this guy's still built like a greyhound.
We were watching him this morning before all the rest of the team came out. He was doing twirls around the ice surface. Bodger from center. Tipping it up to Brad May. Casey is there to intercept. 34 seconds left in the penalty to Shaw. And North Stars doing a good job right here penalty killing as Bodger works it along the boards to Howard Chuck. Out at center is Presley, and along right is Hannon as they work it across the line with Brad May. Casey again doing some nifty stick handling. Stopped by Howard Chuck. Back over for Dave Hannon. To the right point to Bodger. Lets a shot go to the left side of the Minnesota net. May trying to muscle his way by kicking the puck into the corner. Hannon in there as well. Wrapped up on it is Duchesne, and now May and Duchesne get the arms flying there. North Stars back to full strength. Shot on by Bodger, and a big collision to the right side of the North Stars net.
See Dave Hannon in there immediately. I'm trying to take a piece of Brad May, and now the goaltender's tied up with one of the forwards for Buffalo. There's Presley. Now Presley comes back and gives it to Casey.
Now we're getting involved here.
May can't get free. He's pretty well pinned up against the boards. Boys will be boys. A friendly group, aren't they? Look at May just dangling his left. Keep an eye on his left. Keep an eye on. There it is.
Here we go.
You saw it, and he let it go. I'm going to tell you what, Shaw came right back with a couple rights of his own. You can see him just hanging his arm down, waiting to throw the punch, and he tries to come up with an uppercut, misses. It'll just be rabbit punches from here on in.
Brad May on with Dave Shaw going at it. Second period action from the Met Center in Bloomington.
This May has thrown a lot of knockout punches this year.
Want to get that helmet off to finish it off here. Let's see if it'll be successful in doing it. There goes the skid lid.
Well, you have to feel like you're in a revolving door right there.
There we go. Let them pop till they drop. That's what they're going to do.
Well, I'm going to tell you, at this point, you're just begging. Please break it up. And look at Brad May.
Watch the eye work now of the two players. There's
he
a
got
little
him there.
sleeper.
That one did catch him right on the side of the noggin.
And they'll break it up. All right, we'll pick up sticks and gloves. You pick up your popcorn and spilled milk at home. We'll be back. 2-1 our scores, North Stars. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
McDonald's introduces the return of the Wild West.
May I take your order?
Yes, ma'am. How reckon you can.
For a limited time, rustle up a saucy, sassy McRib. Or a Western omelet McMuffin for breakfast with peppers, onions, and ham. Or try a satisfying 99-cent chicken fajitas or 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Howdy, boys.
What you want is what you get.
Mind if I join you?
At McDonald's today.
John Gertler with Mike Robitaille here from the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Second period action, and Andy Van Hellemond will spend some time over with the off-ice officials to dole out some penalties of the most recent activity we've had other than hockey.
He's got an extra pencil with him. There's going to be a ton of them. Metro Rail Sabres Express will get you to Sunday's games in just a matter of 15 minutes, and that's about the same time it'll take you to park your car downtown Buffalo and just walk over to the aisle. Parking at the LaSalle and South Campus stations is free, and the lots are very secure. With Metro Rail Sabres Express, you get on the train and you're there.
Where are we?
And we're here.
That's right. We're there. There. Everywhere.
12 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second period.
There's a hungry.
Yes, Toronto fans, the Stars have a 2-1 lead. McGillney opened the scoring. Power play goal, his 36th of the season. Followed up by Neil Broughton with his very infrequent goal, but his 8th of the year. 1-1 tie, then Dolan put him in the lead. Doesn't he look like an angel? Well, a little choir boy sitting down in the penalty box. Listen, when you're sitting back and just watching the game, this is what you do. Can you imagine this guy gets paid for a look? That's our man, Jim Lawrence, getting ready for the second intermission.
Squirrel.
Look at him go.
Slow down,
Man's
Jimmy.
an animal. Look at him. There's no stopping him.
Oh, just like the fans. Well, nothing has come up on the scoreboard here with respect to penalties. We have Rob Ray still in the penalty box as Dale Howardchuk chats things over with Andy Van Helleman.
Well, they're talking about this possibly being the last game, John. They're going to make it a long one.
We're doing that. Well, they'll get everything cleaned up on the ice surface, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments with activity called hockey. Stick with us. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Why does Marine Midland work so well for so many? You can talk to us. Talk savings with Lynn Welsh. Her interest is help hundreds earn more interest. Education, see Linda Gilbert. She's put 1,300 kids through college, including 2 of her own. It's not just billions in assets or hundreds of branches that make us what we are. Marine people do it so well because they do it so much. So let's work it out together. See Bill Ryan. He spent the last 5 years thinking retirement for folks like these.
Well, that might be a very familiar face to a lot of people. Of course, the former captain and the general manager of this Minnesota team, Lou Nanne. I've played most of my career against Lou Nanne, and one of the best
Following penalties have been assessed on the North Stars
players to come out of United States, and one of the leaders, actually, in the early years when it wasn't fashionable to play in the National Hockey League and be from the States. This cute little chum, probably for once in his life, enjoying the game.
There you go.
Misconducts have been assessed to the Sabres number 18, Wayne Presley.
Here are the penalties.
And the North Stars number 10, Gaetan Duchesne. Time of the penalties, 7:40.
We have misconduct penalties issued out. On Wayne Presley and Gaetan Duchesne. So they'll cool down.
Well, we got a 10-minute misconduct. The Shaw. Presley will pick up a 10-minute misconduct. Duchesne, he's gone. Casey gets a 10-minute misconduct. We'll get the rest for you in just a moment.
It's all evened out, so the two teams will skate 5 aside. And we'll pick it back up with 12 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in period 2. The Stars again 2 points ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've got the game in the hand, which they exercise this evening. Toronto in action tomorrow night.
You look at Dale Howardchuk still leading this team with total points. I'll tell you what, they can't catch him. LaFontaine, he's had enough time, and they can't catch up to him and pass him.
Dono at center, poked along the boards. Bodger returns it back down. Ternorty works it. Good to get into the Sabres zone. Bodger after it. In pursuit is Kip Miller. Been recalled by the club a couple of days earlier. Miller with a backhand. Up to Craig. Carney going after him as they work it into the corner. 2-1 our score. North Stars leading it. This is second period action as Modano lost control of the puck. Bodger is there, tipping it to Andrechuk, up to Mogilny. He's got to go back for it.
Give Brad May a 5-minute fighting major and also a 10-minute misconduct.
All right. Howardchuk with a long shot. Casey setting it up now for Tenorti. Using the boards, and it's cleared out the center and back down into the Sabres zone. Moeller after it. North Stars will change up on the fly. Ellick along with Bellows coming out as Donnelly lets a shot go over the glass and into the crowd.
There really hasn't been that many good scoring opportunities in the second period of play. The veteran Brian Bellows played his junior in St. Catharines. What a prolific junior player he was. Continuing to play almost as well as a National Hockey League player in Minnesota through his whole career. There's some talk earlier in the season of him coming to Buffalo, playing with the Sabres. One of the many rumors.
A hard-working 30-goal scorer.
Must have started in Montreal, huh?
Well, the GMs get together and they talk about players like Brian Bellows. The first thing out of the GM that wants to move a player like that is that he'll be sure and score you 30. Cannon works it across the line. Going to the net is Gord Donnelly. He'll set up camp there, trying to push Ludwig out of the play as Ruutu digs it from the corner. Christian Ruutu working on that checking line. Being winged at this particular shift by Gord Donnelly and Dave Hannon, who controls the puck from behind the net. Gord Donnelly is hit hard by Ludwig, but he scores! Gord Donnelly, while going down on the ice surface, being hit by Ludwig, still controlling that puck.
And I think this goal is going to count. They're talking to Van Helleman, and I don't know what the official call will be here. Just a minute now. The goal will probably go. Now he's pointing to upstairs. Does that mean that they'll take a look at the replay? Now watch it right here. You can see Donnelly in a give and go. He comes back and he really gets nailed by Ludwig from behind. Just drives him down to the ice. But Donnelly, he will get credit for this goal and very deserving of the goal. He pays an awful price right here. It's cracked right down to the ice. He was going at it with Ludwig before he even jumped back into the hole. So he was just looking for him and waiting for the opportunity, and he really nailed him. Watch the left hand of Donnelly. Did Donnelly end up throwing the puck into the net?
The play is currently under review.
Let's have a look at it again, possibly, and I'll tell you what, that's a real possibility.
With the video goal judge, and Mike, we're going to take a look at it again.
All right, here we go. Watch Donnelly when he falls in. Watch the left hand. Does he come up and just... I think he came down and he ended up guiding the puck towards the goaltender, and it went right into the net.
Well, that will be up to the video goal judge to talk things over, as they are doing right now with Andy Van Helleman. And
it might not count. I don't know.
No goal.
No goal. No. Now Dave Hannon is saying he cross-checked the puck into the net. That isn't right. He came down with the left hand and he dragged it right into the puck and gave the puck a shove towards John Casey, and it went directly right in.
No goal.
Well, the players were working on that shift. Indicate again, Mike, as you say, probably cross-checked it in with the stick. One of the 6 criteria for their video goal judge to take a look at, whether or not the puck was directed by the hand.
Well, that was out of Van Helleman's hands. He just sent it upstairs. They made the decision.
That's what he's saying to the players.
Gord Donnelly, he doesn't get to score too many goals, and when he does score a goal, he usually scores it from center ice. Two of his goals this year he didn't even see. He just shot the puck in and went over to the net, went over to the bench for a break, for a rest, a line change, and the puck went in on 2 occasions.
Seriously paid the price for that attempt.
Well, that's nothing new for him. If you get a chance, take a look at the shin pads in Ludwig. Just take a look at him and see how wide they are. He has to have the widest shin pads in professional hockey. Just run his car over them a few times, flatten them out.
10:16 remaining, second period, 2-1, North Stars leading it. Big check labeled on by Pat LaFontaine. Sonorti. Here comes Todd Ellick from the left wing, skating right in on Pupa. Loses control of the puck. Picked up by Muller. Now we've got a stoppage in play here as LaFontaine will be going to the penalty box, I believe, for elbowing. Yes, it is. We'll be back. The North Stars will be on the power play. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
When you're the best, you can take a few knocks.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
Chevy full-size pickups, built to last with the best rust protection in the business. Chevy trucks.
Like a rock.
The trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. Now it's easy to own a Chevy truck.
All right, here's the penalty right here. Tenardi, he goes about 6'5". LaFontaine is about a foot shorter, and he almost has to jump up just to reach his waist. He just dragged that left elbow, just brought it up at the last moment, and laid it on his left ear, and fired him into the boards. He's gone.
Well, I've got the fanometer turned up here at the Met Center. on the scoreboard, and what do they got the decibels up to? About 92.6 right now. There you see it. It's above rowdy. Oh, now it's unbelievable.
Boy, it's nice to see these seats all one color. They're all red now. I can remember years ago, they had every color in the book. Always felt sorry to anybody who had to go to these games here with a hangover. You get dizzy when you're walking along the corridors.
Find your seat. Andy Van Helleman has been a busy referee here this evening, especially skating back and forth the respective benches and the off-ice officials, explaining things, and now he's trying to do that with John Muckler, who is not too happy from our broadcast vantage point.
The plus leader for the Minnesota North Stars, defenseman Jim Johnson, with a plus 17, and for Buffalo, Pat LaFontaine with a plus 13. As I mentioned earlier, Dave Anderchuk with 320 shots on goal for Buffalo. That's the second highest in the league, led by Hull with 397.
Misconduct's at 9:59.
Well, misconduct penalties handed out right now. Todd Ellick and Dave Hannon will sit for 10 misconduct penalties. As Carney attempts to clear, successful at doing it.
Another penalty. This time it'll go to Minnesota's Mark Tenorti. Raced out and hooked Howardchuk down to the ice.
So Tenorti goes to the penalty box, and we're at this juncture equaling the amount of players into the penalty box.
Now here it is right here. Watch Howardchuk. He'll break free. He's looking for that loose puck, and I believe he might have been almost close enough to get it, or at least put enough pressure on that defenseman, and Tenorti reached out, and I'll tell you what, maybe Howardchuk just latched onto his stick and pulled himself down to the ice. If he did, smart move.
So the North Stars had 15 seconds to work on their power play before their captain was whistled on the most recent infraction of interference. So we'll play 4 aside here for the next minute and 45 as LaFontaine cools down from his elbow call. Second period action, 2-1. The North Stars leading it. McGillney from his own line. Lost control of the puck and then had to come back and tip it out to center. Johnson is there for the North Stars, working with Craig Ludwig. Trying to set the play up from behind the net. Gagne on the left wing boards to Johnson. A bouncing puck, hard to handle, and it's cleared back down to the corner. Gurney and Johnson have a few words. As puck is cleared out at center. Mogilny across the line, going to the net is Howardchuk. A shot on by Mogilny, gloved by Casey, and held on to it a little too long, so it's whistled dead with 9:11 left to play, second period.
Well, Alex scored on the same opportunity last week, and maybe he was looking to pull it off again, but it was a very easy save for Casey to make. He was out quite a ways. He really didn't get much on the shot. He just grabbed it and gobbled it up with the glove hand and held on to it for the face-off. And look at the helmet of Dale Howardchuk. Mentioned earlier, 90 points at this point in the season, leading this Buffalo Sabre Hockey Club in total points. You know, you're talking about certain players. You can count on certain guys for 30 goals. This guy will get 40. Howardchuk, you just take him to the bank from 80 to 100. It's an automatic amount of points every year.
Channy along the boards along with Suvoda. Dono intercepts. 56 seconds left in the penalty to LaFontaine. 1:09 left in Tenorti's call. We're playing 4 aside. Skate race now with Modano and Suvoda. Krupa pushes it into the corner. Chip Miller is there, looking to center it out in front. Hatcher trying to keep it in. Sutton eluding a poke check of Modano, finding an open Tony Tanny, skates out at center. Ruutu cruising along to the left, controlling the puck now from the slot with the backhand. Tony Tanny in the corner. Howardchuk attempting to poke it, but it's cleared and picked up by Modano, who skates into the corner. Krupa also out of his net. The two goaltenders here this evening feeling free to do a little roaming. Howardchuk comes across the line from the top of the slot to McGillney, letting a shot go to the left side of the North Stars net. Howardchuk goes crashing into the boards. Carney kicked wide to McGillney, tipping it for LaFontaine, who has come from the penalty box. 9 seconds remaining in the penalty to Tenorti. McGillney looked to center it out in front, and it's stopped by Casey and smothered.
With the amount of penalties here in the second period, it almost brought this game to a standstill.
It's kind of hard to follow. Got some notes back a couple of weeks ago, Mike. March 14th, and a game was going on here against Detroit. There were 2 movie crews in here filming different sequences for respective movies that are going to be released this summer. Filming hockey scenes, crowd scenes, and whatnot. That's kind of interesting, isn't it, now that the Academy Awards are over? Which, incidentally, did your favorite movie win?
I didn't have one this year, John.
Just watched all the activity. Ryan Bellows skating in, leaving it out in front, intercepted by Andrechuk. Bellows again from the slot area, shooting it, rebound, shot on, and is saved by Pupa. Pushing and shoving erupts, but the North Stars are held from that scoring opportunity. We'll be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29. Now, your favorite dessert, as selected by some of the fans here at the Met Center. Why not? A little conversation, a little hockey. Good fan support as well. Peter Savoda from behind his net. Teams playing 5-a-side now. Randy Moeller looking for an opening. Intended for Dale Howard-Chuck. Donnelly forcing Dahlquist from behind his net. Madonna picking up a loose puck. Left wing pass over to Kip Miller. Skating in, leaving it in front. Intended for Mike Craig. Couldn't get there in time, and here come the Sabres. Savoda along the way to Howard-Chuck. Moeller coming in on the play. Howard-Chuck goes after it. Out on the ice as well now. Tony Tanny tipping it back to Howard-Chuck. Gilding in front of the net. Over to Ramsey with a shot. Casey makes the save. Ramsey gets his own rebound. Tanny hit hard from Tenorti. Still holds strong. Jarring the puck over the back. LaFontaine, who tries to walk it in for the left side, but that's picked up and cleared. Donato couldn't get there in time, or we're going to have an icing call assessed against the Stars with 6 minutes and 31 seconds left to play into this second period. 2-1 our score, and all of the goal scoring activity happening in period number 1.
You look at defenseman Kenny Sutton, number 41, and a player I think they expected him to make the team this season, but not play as well as he did, and he has just graduated from the American Hockey League with an awful lot of style and consistency, and he just seems to be getting better and better and better. And many nights he goes out and does his job, and you don't even notice he's on the ice. He just kind of gets it done, and very quietly, a lot like Randy Moeller. And I think they found themselves a defenseman, John, that they can play as a regular shift and playing for many years.
Dave Gagne going against LaFontaine for the draw. Winning it is LaFontaine. Ramsey shooting it. Casey making the save. Johnson wheeling it up along the boards. Tipped by Andrechuk and kept in. Gilding going after it from the corner. Eluding a check by Johnson. Trying to work it out in front. LaFontaine now will do the chores into the corner. Digging it out. Working it back to the left point. Ramsey with a shot. Blocked in front. Cleared to the line. And here come the North Stars led by Gagne and Dolan.
I'm going to tell you, Gagne just got the hit of the season.
Gagne slow and getting up. A pop by Mike Ramsey, and play has stopped. Gagne is looking for positioning.
And had no business being into the middle. Maybe there is one open ice hitter left in the NHL. Because Mike Ramsey read the play perfectly. Just picked him off like he had radar and really loved him. Gagne has nothing to cry about right now. He had no business sticking his nose into the center. It was a solid hit. Clean as a whistle, and just dropped him. He went down like a ton of bricks. In all the years he's played in the NHL and as a professional hockey player, if he doesn't know by now not to cut into the middle, he pretty well deserves what he got. Donald Ledette, of course, with the Buffalo. Here it is right here. Watch this right here. He lets the pass go, and then he just waltzes around, looking around like he's at the zoo. Well, he got laid out in clover. You look right there. He's shaking his head a little bit. He's starting to come to his senses now, but boy, what a shock that is to the system.
Surprised to see that there's that kind of hitting return to the National Hockey League.
There's
something that we had talked about on Saturday.
There's no place to go either. You have the guy lined up, and he's just like he's in a funnel. And he comes right down to you, and you just catch him right in the breastplate.
Nordy across the line. Tipped by Hatcher. Dahlin now works it. Popped by Kearney. 5:47 remaining in this second period. 2-1 our score. North Stars leading it. Donnelly comes in to help get it out. Kearney clearing it to the line. Leaving it open, and Donnelly will control. Across with Bodger skating in. Drop pass. Ruutu getting a shot. Casey coming back with the remnants of a rebound. And now Christian Ruutu going after Darren Hatcher. And we're starting to open it up again, folks. Ruutu got a cheap shot as well. And now Donnelly's letting him.
It's been a testy game.
We got Rob Ray and Mark Tenorti squared off again, and we've seen this action once before.
Well, they're going to go for a dance right here. You know it. Just waiting to get their arms free. There's Gord Donnelly on top of someone. He's just firing away.
Now back out at center. Good hit on by Tenorti, and now they got the rights going.
Tenorti has the great reach. He can reach from inside this building right out to the throughway, and that really has Ray
trying to get all his stuff off. Ray will get all of his equipment off here. He likes to get down to the bare skin. Mark Tenorti and Rob Ray out at center ice. Still got some pushing and shoving going on to the right side of the Minnesota net, so keep it open here. Swede Knox and Mike Murphy down there. Now Swede Knox will come out to this area.
Now that frees up the players in the corner. Well, that's pretty well under control.
Christian Ruutu and Stuart Gavin, and now Rob Ray will go to the laundry and get things straightened out. We'll be back. Second period action. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
What do you get when you come to Midas for brakes? Great value for the price and a job done right. When it comes to brakes, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
The talking phone book takes a back seat to no one when showing seating diagrams. Whether it's a sporting or cultural event, you'll know where the best seats are inside the talking phone book.
Travel arranged through Continental Airlines. One airline can make a difference. What's the difference? For the price of unrestricted coach, a first-class seat. That's the difference on Continental.
John Gertler along with Mike Robitaille from the broadcast location at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Jim Lorenz, your host. Andy Van Hellemond received more airtime on television this evening than most of the players because of all of the penalties he has issued this evening, and he's doing some more work over there with the off-ice officials.
Hardly any shots this period, hardly any scoring opportunities. Clint Eastwood gets more shots out of his magnum than these two teams have had here in the last 10 minutes. We got 5:25, Stars in the lead 2-1, and this is turning into a very long, boring episode, John. This is exactly what they don't want to, the way they don't want this game to be played.
Well, the North Stars with a 31-40-5 record, 67 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who are idle this evening, 29-41-7, 65 points. The North Stars using right now 77th game, the game in hand that they are exercising, and the Leafs will be in action tomorrow.
Let me give the scoring of this hockey game. In the first period, the first goal of the game was scored by Alexander McGillney, his 36th goal of the season, and Doug Bodger. That was a power play goal, and Neil Broughton answered from Minnesota, tied the game at 1. Dahlin and Ludwig assisting on Broughton's 8th goal of the season. Dahlin scored his 33rd, a nifty little snapshot. Tenorti and Broughton assisting on Dahlen's 33rd of the season, and that's how it stands. 2-1. All the scoring coming in the first period of play. We've had nothing but chippiness in the second period. Fights, yelling and screaming and punching and everything else you could think of, except hockey.
And the only players out on the ice surface right now are John Casey, one end, and the other end is Darren Pupin. They're getting a little lonely. Toronto's opponent tomorrow night, incidentally, the New York Islanders.
Needless to say, there's so much at stake this game concerning the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're in a dogfight with Minnesota for that last playoff position, and certainly living and dying every shift here this evening.
While there is a stoppage in activity, the children.
I got to congratulate Cliff Fletcher, the general manager. You look at some of the shirts the Minnesota North Stars gave away tonight to the fans coming in for the game. Cliff Fletcher just really has put together a really decent hockey club in Toronto. It gives them something to work off of, certainly, if not this season, next year, and something for the fans in Toronto to be happy about and cheer about. And we had an awful lot of bad times with that hockey club for many years. Now it's their turn to have a few good nights and really enjoy the game as vocal fans and behind their hockey club. And actually, Buffalo, I can't think of too many nights where that building wasn't filled this season either.
You bet. You bet. That's the irony of it all right now and what's at stake, and it's all with the fans. I mean, everything that's going to be involved, what will take place tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and it will crush the fans. It will scar the game. Irrepressible damage done if it happens. But again, when you get to a business situation, sides have their choices to do what they need to do, and let's just hope for the best. Carry it on from there.
It's not a one-sided affair. Both these sides have had a chance really to hammer away for quite a while now, and it's really come down to the next few hours. The players believe in their stand, and they'll make whatever stand they think is proper for them. And the same with the owners. There doesn't seem to be any neutral ground in between at this point. And it's hard to believe with the magnificent things that happen from day to day in this life, and yet to get two parties together and come to one unified decision, what's best for all. And yet it might still happen. John, you know, deep down what my gut tells me?
What's that?
That there will be a strike, and then suddenly it'll come to an end very quickly.
Well, it's just got to. That's one of the things that hopefully they can avert the first ever strike.
Well, the players feel that, you know, if they don't make their stand right now, and that'll be it. They might as well fold the union, not even have one.
One of the things that John Ziegler had mentioned this afternoon in the press conference from Toronto was that he had a conversation with Bob Goodenow this morning, and he was expected to have more conversations with him this evening in preparations for continuing the negotiations. One of the reporters asked at the time during the question and answer session, once the meeting got over with tonight between Ziegler and Goodenow, would a decision be made? No, the two sides have to go back and talk with their respective people as well. But they're continuing, and both sides have agreed, and they're definitely trying to meet at the appropriate time.
It'd be nice to finally see the bare facts from both sides. And, and then make a decision on it right now. There's so many technicalities. It's I'm in no position to make a decision.
Here come the North Stars as Randy Moeller and Mike Modano are having a few words and pushes and shoves. And just as we get the play back rolling, we're going to have another penalty.
Yeah, Modano got a hold of Moeller's stick and held onto it. Moeller pulled away and fell down, and the extra little tug from Modano, who's arguing all the way to the penalty box. You know, it's important to be able to skate well as a professional hockey player. You also have to learn how to drop nowadays. Somebody gives you a tug, you fall down. Now, here's the collision right here. Actually, Moeller's hands came a little high on the check. You'll want to pull away, gives him a shove. Tenorti retaliates by holding onto the stick. He doesn't want to throw a punch. That's not his style of play. He's not looking for a fight. But that's his way of retaliating.
at 14:55 for interference.
So Madonna
Here
gets caught.
Assessed at 14:35
for interference. Let's listen to the penalties here, and we'll go back.
Christian Ruto of the Sabres, a double minor for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. On the Sabres, number 32, Bob Ray, a fighting major, a misconduct, and a game misconduct. On Gord Donnelly of the Sabres, a 5-minute fighting major and a misconduct. On number 8, Doug Bodger of the Sabres, a 2-minute minor for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. Following penalties have been assessed to the North Stars, on number 28, Darian Hatcher, a fighting major and a misconduct. On the North Stars, number 24, Mark Tenorti, a fighting major, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. On the North Stars, number 18, Bobby Smith, a minor for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct.
Is there anybody left? All of the misconducts that have been handed out by Van Helleman in this second period of play. 4:31 remaining. Second period. The score 2-1 North Stars.
Jim Lorentz wasn't stuffing his mouth full of popcorn. Maybe he could go play. We're just down to that point right now. The benches are empty.
Was looking to get a lead pass to Gagne, but he didn't have a stick.
Leaving the fans there, they're starting to get a little unruly at this point, besides the players.
There's Craig Ludwig. Maybe we can lower the camera a little bit, and Mike, you can explain to the fans. Look at
they're little shin pads. See how they're flattened out? Actually, they're almost round when you get them, but I tell you, he just runs the tractor over them. Look at it.
I call it Popeye legs.
6 World Fairs, I've never seen shin pads like that.
Is that how you would flatten a shin pad out, just run it across it?
Well,
use your car and run them across it.
You know, at one time they used to use magazines. You put the old Eaton's catalog in there when you're short on money.
Yeah.
Of course, all our fans up in Canada know about that. And, look at them. See, it's the block shots, John. You get an edge. They go out about another 1.5 feet.
That's right. Popeye pads. Face off left side of the North Stars net, controlled by the Sabres. Ramsey and Sutton work it. Now that is picked up by the North Stars. Brian Bellows skates in with a shot. Pupa makes a save, and I think that's the first shot on goal by the respective clubs here in the latter stages of period 2. Ludwig from the left point. Labeling a shot that's picked up by Tony Tenney. He works it across the line, goes with a slap shot. Casey makes the glove save, and Tenney broke through, so John Casey held on to that one.
Got a great glove hand, hasn't he? And an awful lot to do with this Minnesota North Star last year team, going so deep into the playoffs, into the finals, of course, and gave everybody in the National Hockey League some hope. Here's the stab right here, and he just sets up for it and grabs it. As sensational as possible.
So we'll pick it up to the left side of the North Stars net.
It used to be a tough sell for coaches to tell their teams you can win a Stanley Cup. It's not that tough a sale anymore. You can sell them on it after what Minnesota pulled off last year. It is possible. Your goaltender gets good. Your power play is clicking. Everybody steps their play up another 10%. The adrenaline is flowing. Emotionally, you start winning games just emotionally how you play the games. More so than talent.
Step it up a couple of notches.
I mean, that can happen any night.
A Cinderella factor in the league.
You can win a game just on emotion.
Ludwig working at the line with Stuart Gavin. Let's a bouncing puck go to the left side of the Sabres net, picked up by Mogilny. 3:30 left to play. We're still in the second period. 2-1 our score. North Stars leading it. Svoboda taking off the puck. Gagne from the left wing. In pursuit is Andrechuk as Gagne lets it go. North Stars a little slow and changing them up on the fly, so the Sabres with an opportunity setting it up for Kearney. Across the line goes LaFontaine, overskates the puck. Johnson attempts to clear, and now Sabres are caught for offside.
Speaking about Kearney, he'll be Jim Lorentz's guest in the second period intermission if he hasn't got a beard down to his knees by the time he gets there. Like 7 days between shaves for these players. This period's gone on forever. Keith Kearney, I'll tell you, has the fortitude of a burglar, this kid. He takes chances that normally it takes 2 or 3 years for a player to get up enough hope to even think about taking these chances, and he's going full force. Well, they sat down and said, open up. Way you go. give and go, start romping a little bit offensively, and let's see your offensive talents. Be creative.
He's doing that.
Well, he took them literally. And you know, when you play that way, you're going to look bad in a lot of plays. I mean, you're going to have some ugly giveaways where the fans go, oh, what's this guy even doing here? Yet many times you'll come up and just turn the puck over in your behalf and just be a splendid play.
I don't think he loses his confidence. And
no, he hasn't, because he's made those bad plays. He'll come right back and jam it down your throat again. There's another player that'll play the same way.
But he had a difficult time in the early stages, especially with confidence. That's what I like about Carney. Sure, he makes the mistake, but he's right back into it. Sutton had a tough time at that last year, and I think he's overcome that. Yeah.
A little bit gnaw when he first came in. Not Carney. I mean, he hasn't wasted any time. From the first shift, he just took off.
From one icing call or an offside call, we go down to the left side of the North Stars net. Gavin and LaFontaine face each other for the draw. Andrechuk and Mogilny, the wingers, on the line. Shot by Moeller in front, tipped by the North Stars, and Gagne works it along the boards. Cleared by Dahlquist back into the corner. Hoopa leaving it for Ramsey with 2:34 left to play into this second period. North Stars are leading it by a score of 2-1. Mogilny overskating the puck. Gavin taking him off, but it's poked and picked up now by Moeller. Back to Andrechuk with a shot. Casey getting a piece of it. We're going to have another penalty here. Can't get anything going in a good flow. The period has taken over 1 hour to play. Johnson with the holding call.
It's going to be an hour and 5 minutes. After this call, Dave Andrechuk wanted to go right through, continue on towards the goal after his drive, and he was held up by the defenseman and brought down to the ice.
.17:01 is the time of the call. And that's Johnson for holding.
Minnesota, the average is 24.5 minutes a game in penalty minutes. That's ranked 15th in the National Hockey League. And Buffalo's 20th with 29.7 minutes per game. Audette injured in the first period, injuring it looked like his shoulder, along with very possibly his right knee. He's not back in the bench, and I don't expect him to be back either. Kind of raked along the boards, and like everything went on him.
Hawerchuk sets the play. LaFontaine along with Svoboda and Andrechuk across the line. Mogilny trailing. He's got the puck now, taking a low shot. It goes to the left side, tipped behind the net. LaFontaine trying to pop it free of the loose netting behind John Casey, but they'll whistle it dead.
Mogilny really found himself in just a horrible angle. He elected to shoot the puck anyways, and I'm not quite sure why, but it kind of caught the side of the net, and some of the players jumped in and held it for the faceoff.
So we'll go to the right side. John Casey with 1:53 remaining in this second period. Again, has taken over an hour to play. And well over an hour's worth of penalty minutes issued by Andy Van Helleman. Thought for a while, Mike, with the goal scoring there in period number 1, we might see a little bit of a shootout. It was going back and forth there, but just hadn't had an opportunity here in this chippy second period to get any flow going at all.
Yeah, it really has been a chippy period, and that's obvious if you've been watching this game, and a lot of ill feelings by the looks of it. Frustrations. Wondering where their futures are going after tonight.
Ludwig works it into the corner. Cleared by Duchesne. Back down. Peter Svoboda at the line to Dave Andrechuk. Stopped at the line. Hawerchuk. Now that's picked up and cleared back by Dahlquist. Minute 6 left in the penalty. Jim Johnson, 2-1 our score. The North Stars leading it. Hawerchuk works it across, tipping it over to Pat LaFontaine. Back to Hawerchuk with a shot. Casey getting a piece of it. LaFontaine tipping it over to Svoboda. Back to LaFontaine. Now Svoboda going rink wide to Hawerchuk with a shot. Casey getting a piece of that one with his stick. Under a minute to play here in period 2. Stuart Gavin lead pass over to Brian Bellows. LaFontaine covering him, forcing him along the boards. Andrechuk there to pick up the loose puck with 46 seconds left to play into this second period. McGillney crossing the line. LaFontaine tipping it over to Andrechuk, still controlling it back to LaFontaine, who's taken down from Bellows. Lost control of it. Howardchuk back to Andrechuk with a tip by LaFontaine. Kearney keeping it in. Dahlquist intercepting now with 23 seconds left. LaFontaine controlling it back to McGillney. Couldn't get the shot away. Now Howardchuk taking it over to LaFontaine. Shot that goes wide. North Stars back to full strength. Howardchuk's rink wide pass over the line, and we're going to have a stoppage in play. There was a delayed offside call, but Andy Van Hellemond jumps in again and will be whistling. Dahlquist to the penalty box with just 5 seconds remaining. See if anybody else will be going along with this call. Take a look at the penalty here. To keep your eyes on number 4, Chris Dahlquist. From the corner with LaFontaine, and yep, Dahlquist will get an early exit, just 5 seconds, however, but the Sabres will start that third period with a man advantage. Hold it for a minute 55 seconds once period 3 begins. The slashing call. So we will finally end this second period. It will be scoreless as well, but a lot of punches thrown. Players ejected and several players finishing out their 10-minute misconducts. Let us take a look at the Jenny Light second period scoring summary. There is no scoring to report of, at least on the ice, that is, here at the Met Center. Between the two teams, or the shots on goal. Total shots on goal in the game, 24 for the Sabres, 13 for the North Stars. 2-1 our score. North Stars over the Sabres after 40 minutes of play.
Combinations at the Buffalo Hilton for 4, and a Sabres autographed hockey stick. To enter, simply send a postcard to Molson Playoff Prize Package, care of the Buffalo Sabres. You must be 21 to enter. Deadline for entries is April the 4th.
This period of Sabres hockey is brought to you in part by Topps Friendly Markets. Topps never stops saving you more. By Blue Shield. For all the reasons of your life, carry the strength of the shield. By the Pella Window Store from West Knee Building Products. And by Midas, your Greater Buffalo Midas Muffler and Brake Shops. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Coming up on Thursday night at Buffalo's Memorial Auditorium, the Sabres meet the Montreal Canadiens. Game time 7:35. The broadcast time on the Empire Sports Network will be 7:30. Here in Bloomington, where the Buffalo Sabres and Minnesota North Stars took over an hour to play the second period. 242 minutes in penalties issued out in that second period, and there are going to be standing room only in the Buffalo Sabres penalty box. Seals, Brad LaFontaine, Christian Rutu, Brad May, and Doug Bodger. Plenty of room to move on the respective playing benches with the Sabres and North Stars. Again, the fanometer warming things up for period number 3. In 242 minutes of penalties, and Andy Van Hellemond has been a very busy referee here this evening. Seems to be some confusion out at center ice before we begin. No scoring in the second period. Shots on goal in favor of the Sabres, 12-7, 24-13 right now after 40 minutes of play, but the North Stars Got at those 2 goals in period 1. McGillney opened it up at 8:40 of period 1 with his 36th on the power play from Bodger, and then it's followed by Broughton at 11:46, his 8th, and Dolan his 33rd at 15:29. And John Muckler, along with Andy Van Helleman and the host of the players.
You know, I'll tell you what, John Muckler is just livid right now, but that wouldn't make much difference because I think everybody involved is a little anxious tonight, including the players, obviously, with the length of that second period. Now they're trying to get all the penalties straight, so this will take another 2 or 3 minutes. They'll have to get that straightened out. And then just as they come back to drop the puck, someone's going to trip over a stick and it'll go all over again. Maybe they just had enough, John. Maybe they're just going to finish up here playing hockey in this third period. And, you know, I don't know. What are they doing? Taking a boat? Let's go. Here's Bob Gainey. He's going over the list. I mean, I understand why he's doing it. There's an awful lot at stake. I mean, you wouldn't think of it the way the second period was played.
Only what should be covered.
So there can't be any mistakes here as far as who should be in the box, who's out of the game, who can't play. I've never seen that player go back to center ice to the referee with a list.
He's got the actual game sheet.
I mean, what is this, a grocery list?
Of the penalties that have been issued. And
look at this. I want 2 pounds of potatoes, a quarter pound of bologna, and some French fries.
Nothing on the scoreboard with respect to penalties. However, both boxes overloaded, especially from the Sabres side. We'll start 5-a-side what's remaining. Dale Howard-Chuck will work on a composite line with Tony Tanney and Alexander Mogilny. And in the report on Donald Audette, the shoulder injury. Underway, third period. Johnson dumps it down to the right side of Hoopa. Moeller is there working it right in front. Howard-Chuck had to dabble with it along with his skate blade. Now Johnson again after getting popped by Tanney. Don Ellick with it. Picked up by Tanney, who works it out to Savona. Back to Tanney, crossing the line. Savona getting a piece of it. Drop pass. Howard-Chuck didn't get the full throttle on that shot. Savona then working it back down into the corner. Third period action from the Met Center. 2-1, the North Stars leading it as Howard-Chuck tips it behind the net to Tony Tanney. Johnson wrestling him down to the ice surface. McGillney then tipping it into the corner. Tanney tipping it back. McGillney trying to get control. Can't do it. Stopped right at the slot by Savona. Tanney then tipping it back, intended for Moeller. Overskates the puck, and he'll have to regroup down into his own zone. The Sabres will change him up on the fly. Out steps Presley and Hannon as the North Stars regroup. Ludwig from the corner. Shane tipping it out. Popped back in by Sutton. Hannon gets back on sides. We'll try it again with Presley working it for the right side of the net. Look to get it out in front. Andrechuk use it for the backhand to the left side of Casey. Presley forces the play against the boards. Hannon is there, stopped by Sutton from the point. Can't get the shot away. He's backed up by Andrechuk. Presley from behind. Now to Dave Hannon. Over to Ramsey with this shot. It's blocked in front. Rebound jumps out. Stars controlling it, and they clear it out at center. Dolan from the right side coming across the line. Taking a shot. He scores! Second goal of the evening for Oop Dolan. And the North Stars take a 3-1 lead on a low, hard shot.
It was a very quick shot, also more than anything else. It's the reason why we'll end up scoring the goal right here. They blow by Sutton. He got caught standing up, and there weren't enough players coming back, but you got to pretty well count on the goaltender to make the save from that far out. Now, he used the defenseman perfectly as a screen, shot it between his legs, and there you look at Dolan, but still he's out an awful long ways. And whether it's screened or not, you've got to find a way to be in position to make that save. Stars take the 3-1 lead. That's Dolan's second goal of the game.
Here comes Craig skating in. Pupa making the save right at the doorstep. Rebound, Tanney and Howard-Chuck work it. Now Howard Chuck with control. He's got Mogilny with him at right as they crisscross across the North Stars line. Howard Chuck leading it out in front. It's picked up. Johnson across the line comes Modano. Johnson leaving it to the left side, and Pupa smothers it up.
Dahlen's 34th from Broughton and Gagne. Now right after that shot beat Darren Pupa, he came back with a great effort as they moved right in on top of him for another scoring chance, and they couldn't beat him. Now here's Buffalo with the puck. You'll see right there Carney will lose it, and this was after the goal to Dahlen, and that's just a gigantic save for Pupa. You have to figure after the last goal going in, you've got to be a little down in the mouth.
16 shots on goal for the North Stars, and they hold a 3-1 lead. Sutton from behind his net. Ramsey in the corner. On its center is Hannon. That's poked and tipped inside the Sabres box. Mike Ramsey regroups there. What a big hit. Ramsey labeled on.
One of the best hits of the year. He picked him off just perfectly. As I mentioned before, Gagne had no reason to go into the center.
So this lineup will be Dave Hannon at center, Andreychuk at left, Presley at right.
And after that hit, he has less of a reason to go into the middle. It's a heck of a time out to learn at that age.
Bellows trying to tip it to Alec. Picked up by Hannon. It's over across the line is Presley. Johnson works it back across his line. Picked up by Sutton. Back to Hannon. Double teamed out of the play. Alec can't hang on to it. Works it along the boards. Gavin clears. Bellows is there. Skating down the left wing. Gavin following as Bellows sets it up. Pass intended for Todd Alec, but it's picked up by Sutton. Now working up front with Hannon along with Presley with a shot that's saved by Casey. Boy, he got a piece of that one with the glove. Bellows comes back out at center. Now to Gavin. Comes across the line. His slap shot off the stick of Carney. From the corner, Dave Hannon tips it up, but it stopped at the right point by Duchesne. To the slot to Gagne, who has stood up by Moeller. Well, back control of the puck comes Gagne, finds an opening, skates right in. Pupa makes the save, but it goes over his shoulder into the corner.
Had him beat clean. All he had to do was just slide it in the net. Instead, he slid the puck wide and missed the far corner by about a foot. Otherwise, that baby was going in.
16:08 left to play, third period. The North Stars leading it by a score of 3-1. Tanny lead pass up to Pat LaFontaine, crossing the line, trying to split the defense. Forced into the corner. LaFontaine controlling, now poked by Johnson. In to help is Tony Tanny. Working to the left side of the net is Mogilny as Tanny looks to center it out in front. Mogilny with a shot. Casey comes up with the save. Svoboda from the left point. Tipping it to Tanny. Out in front for Mogilny. Casey coming up with another save. Rebound jumps up to the left side. And here come the North Stars. Neil Broughton skating in its center and dumps it across, and the North Stars change up on the fly.
Not good, but superior goaltending here tonight by the Minnesota North Stars. John Casey. Really the big difference in this game. Buffalo obviously be closer, but he has just stoned them shot after shot after shot. You can see why Minnesota went so deep into the playoffs last year.
Well, Mogilny has been robbed in a couple of games. 3-1 our score. Third period action will be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
There is a season to love. There is a reason, and someone who cares by your side. A time to be born, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to feel, a time to carry the strain of the shield.
Gagne coming back. Watch him just wheel right into the center. He'll put a move on Pupa, front backhand, forehand, back to the backhand. Hasn't beaten, just slides it wide of the net. Buffalo comes back with an offensive chance, and there it is right there for Alexander Mogilny. He's looking at a half a wide open net to fire at. He let the shot go, and the goaltender was there, and actually he made the save with ease. He didn't struggle at all. It was just a beautiful slide right across, and the timing was perfect.
North Stars attempting to come across the line. Shot in by Modano. Savona works it from behind his net. Intercepted by Modano. Leaves it back over for Craig. Fans on the shot. Presley working with Hannon. Presley with a shot. Casey makes the save, and he hangs on to it. Saw that Dale Howard-Chuck skating right in.
Well, he almost handcuffed him with the drive. Presley's very adept at that, moving across and taking the shot at the same time while his feet are in motion. It's very confusing for a goaltender to follow. Normally, players set, then shoot. That's not the case necessarily with Presley, and it's a great advantage he has as a goal scorer in trying to score goals. If you can move, have your feet moving, and shoot at the same time, instead of having to stop and set up and go through this whole motion of about 2 seconds before you release the puck.
29th shot on goal labeled by the Sabres. Third period action. And just like Sunday's game against the Hartford Whalers, the Sabres are meeting yet another hot goaltender. That in the form of John Casey. We'll be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
At Tops, you'll save on a wide variety of items with lower prices every day. And that means you could use the money you save at Tops to support the arts. For lower prices every day, Tops never stops. At Tops, you'll save on a wide variety of items with lower prices every day. And the money you save at Tops packing lunches can go toward breakfast. For lower prices every day, Tops never stops.
John Gertler along with Mike Robitaille and Jim Lorenz from the broadcast location at center in Bloomington. 3-1 our score. North Stars leading it. Sabres setting it up. Ramsey from the slot with a backhand, intercepted by Gagne, teaming up with Broughton as they move across the line. Broughton out of zone with a shot. Hoopa got a piece of it. Mogilny getting the rebound and breaking out at center with LaFontaine and Andreychuk. Coming across the line, Andreychuk. Bouncing puck. Hard to handle for Mogilny. Dahlin clearing it back out the center. Gagne got a piece of it. Stolen by Moeller. Combines with Ramsey to get it out the center. LaFontaine back to Moeller. Right wing pass to Mogilny off the blade of his stick. Edwards makes a slash at it. Second the motion by Broughton, and the Sabres are forced back down in their own zone. Sutton on the right wing side to Hannon. Coming across the line. Mogilny going to the net as Hannon is stopped cold by Dahlquist along the board. Gavin along, breaking out with Alec. Bellows is with him at right. Now Alec setting it up for Bellows from the corner. 2-14 of the respective clubs working it along the boards. Tipped by Brad May. Gilney is there. Dahlquist, however, pokes it. Bellows controls at center. Got Alec with him at left as Bellows skates in. Takes a shot. Hoopa makes the save. Rebound. Bellows intercepted by Sutton. Now that play is busted, and Bellows forced against the boards. Alec into the loose puck, looking to get it out in front, intercepted by Hannon, and he'll clear it out the center and right to the North Stars line. Dahlquist is there. Finding Gavin. Now working with Mike Modano across the line. Alec from the left, poked nicely by Howard-Chuck. Ludwig will control. Johnson using the boards. Modano rinked wide. Howard-Chuck stops it at the line. Nobody's there except the Stars, and they come back out to center. Moeller. Pass along the way for Presley. Picked up by the North Stars. Cleared back down into the Sabres zone with 12 minutes and 27 seconds left here in period 3. 3-1 our score. North Stars leading it. Howard-Chuck all alone at center. Coming up now, Canny along with Presley. Moeller dumping it in. Casey setting it up. Ludwig into the corner. Modano controlling it. Tipping it up along the way to Kip Miller. Stopped at the right point by Moeller. Rushing the play to generate from behind again. Cleared across the line. Modano is there. From Miller coming into the right side with a shot. Just to the left of Darren Pupa. That's back out at center, and that's cleared in.
Tony Tanney chases man all the way over to the Minnesota bench followed him all around his end zone, then chased him right over the bench, finally caught up with him, gave him a cuff in the ear.
Well, we almost played 9 minutes.
It might have been
before any
Bobby
of this
Smith.
broke out. Looks like they have it under control. Let us take this time out. 3-1 our score, North Stars, third period. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
Great uniform. It's 3 a.m. What's wrong?
I don't know. The house, family, the future. Sometimes I just want to be a kid again.
You're building a life. Marine Midland professionals and a Marine Gain Savings Plan can help build a foundation.
Come on, kid. It's past your bedtime.
Marine Gain Savings from Marine Midland. Let's work it out together.
Oh, this infraction here is almost funny. Watch Tony Tanney. He'll take a run at his man. He'll end up jumping on his back, and he'll push his head down into the ice. That's Duchesne right there. Now watch. Tanney's hot. Watch this. The race is on. Mutt and Jeff. Is he going to catch him? Go get the fox. Come on, Tony. Chase it there. Look at. He wants a call. He's not going to get. Now he's going to chase him over the box. Duchesne has no idea where he is. But he's going for him. Now he's going into his own box. Gets his attention. Has a little chat. Decides, well, I might as well go now. There he is. It caught him on the side of the head. Net 1, Pearl 2. The Maltese Falcon is not a happy camper tonight.
Van Helleman issuing out 10-minute misconduct plus roughing calls on both Duchesne and Tanney, so the penalty minutes add up now.
I remember one night Bob Plager, St. Louis, chased Andre Boudry out right.
There's another loose puck to the right side of the Sabres net.
Right around the rink 3 times before he couldn't catch him. Bobby wasn't a very good skater, but Boudreau could really dangle, but he couldn't catch him. Boud kept on going all over the place. He chased him, he couldn't get him. Still looking for him.
There's one player that's hard to catch. Setting a puck up, a shot to goal by Moeller as Mogilny set it up. Randy Moeller scores for the Sabres in the third period.
Boy, this can be a funny game at times when you look back and think of all the tremendous scoring chances, the real good scoring chances from just some deadly positions on the ice. They couldn't get it by Casey. Now watch this one that goes in. Moeller steps in, lets go from kind of an angle, somewhat an angle, nice and low, and it looked like it just handcuffed him. Went right between the legs. We'll have a better look at it right here. Mogilny to Moeller. Moeller one step, drags it, snaps it. It looked like a very simple shot, not all that much on it.
So Randy Moeller scores his first goal as a Buffalo Sabre, third on the season. It's 3-2 North Stars. Shot labeled on for the right side of the Sabres net by Gavin. May clearing it back to the North Stars line. Ludwig works it up. Approaching the halfway mark of period 3. Alec along with Ramsey go crashing into the boards down the Sabres corner. Brad May is there. Finding Sutton, who tags Howard Chuck at the line and out at center. May waiting at the line. Howard Chuck goes with a shot well wide of the North Stars net. Gavin cleared. So Randy Moeller scores his first goal as a Buffalo Sabre.
Third of the year. 1 assist going to Alexander Mogilny.
8:49 the time of the goal. Loose puck. Dave Andrechuk and Mike Craig trying to grab for it. Now it is cleared off the stick of Johnson and back down into the Sabres corner. There's a Craig skating in. Hoopa using his stick, and now it's cleared along the boards but picked up. Got labeled on by Madonna as LaFontaine works in front of his bench. That's poked by Craig. Bodger works it up the boards. Hannon finding an open LaFontaine. Tipping it to Mogilny, who's skating right in on Casey. Takes the shot, and Casey stands for the low shot by Mogilny. 3-2 our score, and North Stars will be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
McDonald's introduces the return of the Wild West.
May I take your order?
Yes, ma'am. I reckon you can.
For a limited time, rustle up a saucy, sassy McRib. Or a Western omelet McMuffin for breakfast with peppers, onions, and ham. Or try a satisfying 99-cent chicken fajitas or 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Howdy, boys.
What you want is what you get.
Mind if I join you?
At McDonald's today.
The lead pass is right on the money, and away goes the speedster, Alexander McGillney. I mean, he'll beat this defenseman like he's standing still. Once again, Casey comes right back with an outstanding save like he has been making all night long. There's 31 shots on goal for Buffalo, 20 for Minnesota. This is 2 games in a row now where Buffalo has been stoned by goaltending. That's the importance of goaltending. Goaltenders win you games all by themselves at times.
Sabres with 50 shots on goal in Sunday night's game. Now McGillney, an opportunity to try it again. Casey comes up with another save. Stopped by Andrichuk from the slot. Now stolen by Broughton. He's pulled down. Fans want a call, but
it should be a call.
It continues. Bodger, right wing pass to Andrichuk. Taken off the puck, and it's cleared. 9:04 left to play, third period. 3-2, North Stars leading it. Dale Howardchuk behind his net. Working up front, McGillney. One with LaFontaine and Andrichuk. Roto will position himself at the left point. Top of the slot is Howardchuk with a shot, a bouncing puck to the left side of the North Stars. Then another puck centered out in front of Andrichuk. Shoots the puck, but
called off the whistle.
Be off the not only a penalty there, but the net was off its mooring as well.
The whistle blew just as the shot was taken. One of the players in the scramble around the net just as the Sabres were winding up to take the shot. We'll see it right here. We'll have a better look at it. Watch the front of the net. Keep an eye on the net. There's the pass. See right there, the defenseman goes to the front of the net and probably shoved the net more than anything else. At least that's what it looked like. It turned out to be a pretty good thought on his part, because he just might have saved the goal. Now Van Helleman back over the penalty box for the 700th time tonight. We'll get it straight. And he should make the announcement. And there it is.
No goal.
Net off the mooring.
Many times Minnesota, all kinds of 2-on-1s here this evening. Now, in Minnesota's favor. Now, what's happening, the defense is standing up. That's what they want them to do, gamble a little bit. But you must have a forward coming back, playing high and ready to jump back and take up your position. Well, that hasn't happened all that many times tonight. So the defensemen are really getting burned here, left and right, because of it. I mean, that way of playing works as long as everybody does their job.
Here come the North Stars. Mark Bureau skating in. Couldn't get the shot away. Covered nicely by Howardchuk. Sabres continue to work on that power play. Shaw is in there. Andrichuk with a shot right in front. Johnson clears. Comes Mogilny skating in. LaFontaine with a shot. He scores! Pat LaFontaine picking up the loose puck and shooting it to the left side of Casey, and we've got a tie game.
Well, this is something that Buffalo have been doing pretty well all season long. That's coming back late in games. It's happened too many times for it just to be chance. Now you'll see the opportunity coming up right here for LaFontaine as he uses his skate, boots it right back up onto the tape, and then once again a very quick shot beating the goaltender. That's an awful fluid move by LaFontaine in one motion. Kick the puck up to the front of him and then just shoot it almost instantaneously and still put it just inside the post to score the goal. There's a lot involved to put that puck in the net.
43rd goal of the season for LaFontaine, and we've got an icing call against the Sabres. 7 minutes and 43 seconds left. We're tied at 3. Third period. You're watching Sabres hockey. on Fox 29.
When shopping for windows, it's important to ask the right questions.
Where can I find beautiful windows that are easy to maintain?
With Pella, you have the beauty of wood inside and no maintenance aluminum clad outside.
Where can I find windows with exciting features?
Choose from Pella Slim Shades, pleated shades, and roll screens.
Where can I find windows that fit perfectly?
Pella custom builds windows at its own shop. Plus, there's the warranty and service, too. Feature for feature, you can't buy a better window than Pella. Talk to the window experts at Pella.
There's Christian Rutu firing a shot right on Casey. Cleared back out at center. Stars coming in, led by Craig. Oh, another fine hit by Mike Ramsey as he held Craig from going in on the net. Stars again, top of the slot is Craig. Goes with the backhand. Bouncing puck to the left side. Shoveled by Pupa.
Give that power play goal to Patty LaFontaine from McGillney and Howard-Chuck. LaFontaine's 43rd goal of the year.
Madonna trying to get something going for his North Stars. These are the boards that get it up along the way. It didn't for Miller, but it goes all the way back down. We're going to have another icing call here against the Stars, stopping things with 6 minutes and 53 seconds.
Well, suddenly, Toronto Maple Leafs are alive and well. We're back in it again as you look at Doug Bodger. And his play this year just took off suddenly, and he's really turned into just an outstanding defenseman in the National Hockey League. And there's moments where he's tailed off at times, but then he come back a little bit. But right now, he is just the best he's ever played in his whole career. Here's the timing is perfect, except he doesn't get low enough to nail Craig and really flip him up over his backside. Craig kind of rode his back for a little while and brought him down to the ice that way.
Well, John Muckler is
John Tortorella to his left. Muckler standing up. He's pointing. Have no idea who he's talking to right now, but he's might be talking to the coaches over in the Minnesota bench and the players. Madonna's okay as long as he stays behind that glass. Bob Gainey very calmly sitting back into his position, not saying anything.
266 total minutes in penalties issued in this hockey game so far, and that's including the 24 that have been handed out recently by Van Helleman.
The coach gets fired up like that. Many times has a tendency to get the team fired up. And Muckler has showed up in ill humor here in this game this evening. As a matter of fact, the game against the Boston Bruins had an argument going with the Boston coach.
Maybe the next thing we'll see is one of the
you play to
go out
win
on the ice and start kicking the ice.
John, you play to win. You can't play this game if you don't show a little emotion. And he gets on a slow burn sometimes. He looks nice and calm back there and very quiet. Then all of a sudden, he'll blow his cork when the time comes.
From the North Stars, in front of the Sabres net, turned aside by Pupa. Howard-Chuck blindly leaves it for Dahlin. Shot is blocked. Dahlin gets his own rebound. Taking a shot. Pupa makes the save. Tips it to the left side of the net and finally gains control of it, stopping things. Hold your breath. We'll be back. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
To live, there is a season. To love, there is a reason. And someone who cares by your side. A time to be born, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to feel, a time to carry the strength of the shield.
We'll go to the face-off left side of Darren Pupa. Faced 22 shots. 19 saved. Sabres have stormed back here in period number 3 with a goal by Randy Moeller, his first as a Sabre. LaFontaine following up with his 43rd. Gilney getting assists on both goals. And that goal that he scored in period 1, 3 points tonight.
It's that second goal by Dahlin that really killed Buffalo to this point in the game. Sneaking that shot just inside the post. You had eyes on it.
Rotten works it back to the line. Gagne tipping it. Now Dahlin works it across. Ramsey holding him, and Broughton comes up with a rebound, leaving it out in front. Collision there, pops the net off the moorings. Johnson skated in for any remnants of a loose puck.
The man went in, but that doesn't count. You've got to have the puck in there, and that didn't quite make it. Let's have a look at it. It's deep in the Buffalo zone. Minnesota will move in and tear the net right off the magnets. That's Broughton. He's looking for an open man. He lays it to the front of the net, catches his man who falls down to the ice. It's Jimmy Johnson. He just brings his pads up at the last moment and slides into the pipe.
The North Stars looking to snap a 5-game losing streak. They haven't won since March 17th when they defeated the Sabres 3-1 here at the Met Center.
Well, this game has tightened up. It's turned into a horse race.
Sabres came into the Sea Games game 3-1 and 1 in the last 5. Pretty good success of late on the road as well as Bodger tips it into the corner, and now we'll have a stoppage in play, and Andy Van Hellemond gets a chance to raise his arm, and a holding call will be issued.
I think they're both going to go, very possibly. Maybe just the one call to Brad May.
May heads to the box, and when we come back, the North Stars will have the power play. You're watching Sabres hockey on Fox 29.
More winners. Better odds. Introducing Take 5.
Wake up, Leon.
The new game from the New York Lottery.
We are going shopping.
So take 5 and play Take 5, but be careful. There's a very good chance you'll win.
Brad May running the towel over his face. It's a holding call. This game's tied at 3. Minnesota onto the power play.
Good solid draw by Dave Hannon. Forces the North Stars all the way back down in their zone. Kip Miller will work it to the line. Bellows out at center. It's by Bodger, but the North Stars caught for offside. Shaw there, as well as Bellows and Dahlin coming into the play.
Kip Miller. It's kind of like name with My Three Sons or some type of show.
Brother Biff.
Brian Bellows is no better player in the National Hockey League to march out of the corner with the puck and capable of scoring. Made a living at it. Deep into the corner, he just cuts right across and snaps him in. He scored so many goals that way, and an awful lot of defensemen look awful bad.
1:44 left in the holding call to Brad May. 3-3 our score. 5:21 remaining, third period. Bellows across the line with his backhand along the glass behind the Sabre net. Miller keeps it down there, setting it up for Modano. Miller and Dahlin combined together. Trio of North Stars from the point. Modano leaving it back over to the left point with a shot. Hooper got a piece of that one with his stick. Dahlin now from the right point will skate to the slot. Shot on. Saved by Pupa. Rebound picked up by Mulder. Lead pass up for Presley, who skates in. Takes some time off that penalty clock now with 59 seconds left in the holding call to Brad May. Bellows works across the line. Back over to Modano, taking a shot. Blocked by Ramsey. Modano getting his own rebound. Oh, play is intercepted. A short time by Presley. Ramsey works it into the corner. Modano pokes it. Back to Bellows, trying to set the play up. Johnson skates in. A shot on by Modano. Really didn't get the full swing out of it all. Now Modano controls. With the Dahlin to Modano. Johnson with the shot. Pupa with the save. Rebound left side. With that puck, it bounced right to the lap of Ramsey.
Had it tucked in right into his stomach off of deflection. Was elected to hold on to it and go for the face-off. And both teams will make a wholesale change. We'll see where Ramsey will end up blocking this shot. Here's a drive from back of the point. Up it goes. Pupa comes out, makes the save, and just kind of rebounds the puck right into his defenseman, Mike Ramsey.
13 seconds left in the penalty. The holding call to Brad May. 4 minutes left in regulation. Score tied at 3.
Minnesota is home for Mike Ramsey.
LaFontaine at center. Bodger along with Moeller and Ruutu.
13 seconds remaining on the Minnesota power play.
left in the corner. Ritchie looking for an opening. He actually popped it in to a group of fans here at the Met Center.
John, wouldn't it be interesting? You think of voting going on right now with players if they gave all the fans a ballot, see who they would vote for.
That strike deadline is 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. 3 games are scheduled. Islanders be in Toronto. Capital for a trip to New Jersey, but the Jets I'll be humming right now or overnighting in San Jose. They're overnighting in the Sharks tomorrow. Gagne at his own line. Bobby Smith out there for the first shift of the evening.
I might be a little selfish, John, but I'll tell you what. I don't want to miss that series against the Boston Bruins.
They had a great game on Saturday. Here comes Madonna straight in on Pupa, who locks him up to the right side as the cleanup, and they score. Craig is going to score the goal. Mike Craig scores on the rebound, and the North Stars take a 4-3 lead.
You'll see someone here put an awful lot of effort into this goal. Craig just his head down, turns into a bulldog. Anderchuk with the puck's a giveaway. They turn around, they come back. They'll bring it over to the far side, and there's Craig right there. Anderchuk came back on the play, did not have him covered enough. So once the giveaway went to Minnesota, they just about put it in. There was a rebound, but the second man put his head down, worked awful hard, and came back and pushed it into the net. A very deserving goal.
14th goal of the season for Mike Craig.
That goal didn't come cheap. One of those one-on-one battles, John. That's what makes the game so interesting, and this is how you find a winner sometimes. Who wins those one-on-one battles?
Mike Modano gets the assist. The time of the goal is 16:42. 4-3 our score, North Stars. This game now 3 hours and 10 minutes old. Ludwig works it rink wide. Tipping it to Modano. For someone to set it up. Craig has got it. Behind the net. On the boards now is Dave Hannon. Sabres attempt to break out. Peter Savoda works it to the line. He is hit hard by Jim Johnson. We're going to have a penalty here. And it's going to go against Johnson with 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in regulation, and the Sabres jump back on the power play.
Well, Johnson didn't give him too much, but it was Swoboda that took the hammering from Johnson. Swoboda carrying the puck and dancing a little bit at the Minnesota blue line, and watch what happens. Johnson's playing him on a one-on-one. So far, so good. Now the collision. You can't bring the hand up and punch the guy in the side of the head. If he would have just lifted his hand up and maybe shoved him on the shoulder or the chest area, let it go. But once you bring it up and cuff the guy in the face, what he did, that's exactly what he did, and the call was probably correct. Now 2:47 remaining. The Stars moved into a 4-3 lead on Craig's goal. Now it's Buffalo's turn.
8th power play opportunity of the evening for Buffalo. Face off right side of Casey. Draw powered by Andrechuk. Poked by Broughton and cleared back to the line.
Nice work right there by Minnesota.
Howard-Chuck, LaFontaine. McGillney going to the net as LaFontaine sets it up. McGillney from behind. He is hit hard by Dahlquist. LaFontaine working it to the right point. Howard-Chuck letting a shot go. Blocked in front. Rebound McGillney. That is poked and cleared by the North Stars. 2:17 left in regulation. 4-3 North Stars leading it. At the line, Dave Andrechuk leaving it to the slot. Drop pass, LaFontaine. Andrechuk shot to the left side of the Minnesota net. Rogers skating in for the left point. McGillney can't hang on to it. Goes back for it, leaves it out in front. Howard-Chuck couldn't get the full shot away on that one. LaFontaine from the corner, skating out in front. Picked up off the stick of Ellick, but cleared by Ludwig.
Dahlquist is just hammering the living daylights out of McGillney. Every chance he gets, he's laying the lumber on him left and right.
Dave Andrechuk controlling it for the left side of the Minnesota net. McGillney is out in front. They take a whack at it. McGillney comes in to help. 1:34 remaining. Howard Chuck, top of the slot to Carney. Tipping it over to LaFontaine. Back to Carney. Takes the shot in front. Tipped by Andreychuk, but to the right side of Casey. And it's cleared by the North Stars.
Heady shot by Kearney. Found his man open in the slot. Went for the tip. A good recovery by Minnesota. Second effort. They shoot it all the way down and kill the clock off. Another giveaway, and down it goes again.
1:12 left in regulation. 23 seconds left in the penalty to Johnson. That for roughing. Presley across the line. McGillney skating in with LaFontaine. A bouncing puck back over to LaFontaine. Under a minute to play in the regulation. Shot on by Savoda. Stopped by Gavin and cleared. 48 seconds left. Now we're going to have a stoppage in play here. And Brian Murphy is going to issue, I think, too many men on the ice.
It's an interesting call. If it's too many men.
Minor on Buffalo. Too many men on the ice. Called at 19:12.
Confusion over the Sabre bench. Coming and going. Maybe trying to cheat a little bit at this point in the game. Get an extra 2 or 3 feet on the jump. They'll let you go, but as long as you don't go too far. But from what I could see, I think 2 men actually jumped over. Yeah, the goaltender pretty well wound up to pull him out of the net, and when he came right near the bench, the 2 men went over instead of 1. Now we have another skirmish down by the Buffalo bench.
Talk continues.
47 seconds remaining in this third period. The Stars with a 4-3 lead. Alf Dahlen with a pair here tonight. Buffalo out shooting Minnesota 35-26. And it just has been one chippy hockey game. We certainly hope to be talking to you once again before anything happens tomorrow at the deadline. And of course, Fox 29 will be along all the out-of-town games, those playoff games against the Boston Bruins. It'll be good to have you with us, just as it's been all season long. There you look at Andy Van Helleman. He's just about ready to drop. Gonna have to get a new whistle for the next game.
Called a few tonight.
Flattened those peas out, hasn't he? Look at him. He's shaking. Please, he said. Oh, come on, fellas. 47 seconds remaining in this third period.
Face off down into the Sabres zone, and if all goes as scheduled, or at least looking at a schedule, the Sabres will host the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday night at the Memorial Auditorium for a 7:35 face-off. Pending of what happens at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Players' decision whether or not go out on strike. Lead pass up to Alexander Mogilny, working into the line. It's poked. And with 40 seconds left, Gagne breaks in with Craig. Gagne now closing the gap. Back to Craig. Takes the shot. He scores. Second goal of the evening by Mike Craig. And he will not only get the insurance goal right now, but if all goes status quo, he'll get the game-winning goal.
Well, it's a clean goal by Craig, and that's a pair for him tonight. Let's have a look at it. Many times Minnesota have broken in a 2-on-1. They've been electing to shoot the puck, except on this opportunity, they elected to make the pass. Darren Pupa will go across, and he just slides and falls right down. And at that time, Craig was looking pretty well at an open net. He slid along the ice, but still, he could have shot it up over Pupa. He elected to keep the puck down low.
So with 35 seconds left, the North Stars have a 5-3 lead over the Sabres. In Toronto in action tomorrow night against the New York Islanders. Saturday at home against the Rangers, and then closing out the regular season in Philadelphia. 20 seconds remain. Christian Ruutu leaving the puck behind the net. Brad May after it from the corner with 12 seconds left. Johnson
here we go again.
And oh boy, we got the fists flying down there with Presley and Johnson. Brad May wants a piece.
Presley came in and really nailed him from behind. Brought his hands right up, and Johnson replied and got his gloves off, and they both came at one another. And they're looking at the results.
Well, with 7 seconds left, the penalty minutes mount. What did I say? 266. We're at 270. Well over 300 minutes in penalties this evening after all is said and done.
This game is a heartbreaker.
I'll get that figured
for all
out.
our fans in Toronto.
So the North Stars with 69 points. I don't know. 4 points behind. The homestand continues for the North Stars on Thursday night. They'll meet the St. Louis Blues, then host the Detroit Red Wings on Saturday night. They'll close out on the road as well on Sunday against the St. Louis Blues. So what was 2 for the Minnesota North Stars in catching, or check that for the Toronto Maple Leafs in catching the North Stars, now is 4. So with 7 seconds left, fate remains of this game into the hands of the players and their decision of what to do regarding the current proposal that is out on the table by the National Hockey League owners.
There's been an awful lot of talking going on between those two teams, and they're not talking about the proposals either.
And both teams, once they shower and relax a little bit, they will meet.
Well, there's an awful
a secret ballot vote.
Huge decision, isn't it, for the players? And they'll give it a lot of thought, as they already have, and they'll attempt to make the best decision they can make, fully realizing the upside of it and the downside of it, and just as the owners realize the upside of it and the downside of it if there is a walkout.
Well, it's from one side for the National Hockey League to handle the situation the way they have the last couple of days with all of the information. And I know the NHLPA has done the same thing, especially with the players. And one of the reasons why they took the 12 o'clock strike deadline away on Monday and pushed it over to Wednesday for 3 o'clock. So all of the players would understand what's at stake. And again, the game over now. The pressure and the thoughts go on to the minds of the players as to what to do. And again, these two teams, without their